Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, August 23rd, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Athletics versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 4 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Saturday, everyone. And then a quick update with the roster. You know, we knew Dylan Moore was struggling, and finally, at some point, we knew they were going to pull the trigger, and we finally get Victor Robles back into the lineup. So we are very, very excited. This might be the only game he gets to play before the suspension comes down. Initially 10 games. Hopefully he appealed, so hopefully it'll go down to 5. But at least for a game, we get to see Victor Robles in the lineup, and we are very excited. We appreciate all the contributions that we got from Dylan Moore, but the reality is this is a business, and if we're going to be trying to make a World Series push, we need to be able to eliminate the weak players and then bring in the players that are going to help us win in Victor Robles. Now, on the lineup here and on the thumb, shortstop stud Jacob Wilson on the left, and on the right, one of the heroes, you know who it is, it's Gino, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Athletics. Leading off for the Athletics at first base, Nick Kurtz. Batting second, catching today for the A's, Shea Langeliers. Batting third, DHing for the Athletics, Brent Rooker. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Tyler Soderstrom. Batting fifth, playing shortstop for the A's, Jacob Wilson. Batting sixth, playing center field, Lawrence Butler. Batting seventh, playing second base, Daryl Hernandez. Batting eighth, playing right field, Carlos Cortez. And batting ninth, the former Seattle Mariner third baseman, Luis Urias. And on the mound for the Athletics with a 10-8 record, an ERA of 4.24, it is Jeffrey Springs. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. Good vibes only. Batting fifth, playing first base, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, DHing for Seattle, Mitch Garver. Batting seventh, playing right field, welcome back, we miss you, we love you, Victor Robles. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And batting ninth, playing second base, it is Cole Young. And on the mound with a 8-6 record, an ERA of 4.22, it is George Kirby. And I figured since I went with the full, City Connect lineup 1 through 9, as well as the pitcher, I figured I would do the same today with the home whites. And hopefully that'll give us a little extra luck because we're going to need it, obviously, here today. And then we have a set for tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific. If we win today, obviously we'll be going for the sweep, but we're going to be shooting for 2 for 3. If we win today, then we can talk about sweep tomorrow. And then obviously the next set of games will be against the Padres at home. And then after that 3-game set is over, we go on the road to the Guardians. Every single game is critical here on out, especially when you have, 30 to 35 games left for most teams. We need to try to be really on a hot streak as we hit that playoff push. But we're very, very excited for Victor Robles. And again, Dylan Moore is one of those guys that we felt that, could have been, deactivated quite a while ago. It maybe took a little bit too long. But he's here, and hopefully he'll be able to have an impact before the suspension comes down, and hopefully it gets reduced from 10 games to 5, and that way we can get him back into the starting lineup, and he can get some rhythm and some continuity and chemistry with his teammates. We'll be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the donos, and then 5 to 15 subs. Let's go, baby. ZR1 in the building, what's good? Cool Kid in the building, what's good? Marine Bean in the building, what's good? Cody in the building, what's good? Brent in the building, what's good? Let's go. And really now the only weak spot in the lineup would be DH. And obviously, depending on if it's a righty or a lefty, you can have Jorge Polanco. But we would want someone a little bit better than Mitch Garver. If you could call up Harry Ford and replace, that for Mitch Garver and alternate between Harry Ford as the backup catcher and DH with, Jorge Polanco. And then you got a few others you could rotate in there at DH if you wanted to, like a Luke Raley or a Dominic Canzone. We're starting to see like the full potential of the lineup. And again, I think some people don't really, follow the stats with Dylan Moore and maybe a little confused on why this is happening. But again, if you actually paid attention with the Mariners and you've been watching on a daily basis, we could have made this move for not just Victor Robles, but a different player like Harry Ford or one of the others, even Leo Rivas, months ago. Again, especially when he's been striking out left and right for the last, few months. So we appreciate, the longest tenured Mariner, obviously being with us. But this is a business. And again, when it comes down to it, Dylan Moore isn't going to help us win, obviously the division, let alone, the playoffs. And so we appreciate everything that he did. But this was a move that needed to be done. And I'm very excited to be able to have the no-fly zone complete, even if it's only for a game before that suspension comes down with Randy in left, Julio in center, and Victor in right. First pitch from George Kirby to Nick Kurtz, and takes a strike looking high and inside with the four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, knuckle curve, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Kurtz. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. We hit those numbers, then we'll go to the secondary goals, which will be 125 on the likes. And then if we hit 5 to 15 subs, then we'll go to that 20 to 30 range. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Nick Kurtz. Another heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest, another 100-degree day. Not really ideal, but we're going to grind it out. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Kurtz. And again, we need Kirby to have a good outing. We don't expect it to be as good as Brian Wu last night. And again, 3 runs or less. 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits for the offense. And Kurtz takes a strike 3 looking. Here we go. And when George can get a punch out on his first batter, that might be a sign of good things to come. Nice job by George, feeling off those good vibes only. Off Gino, Naylor, and Jorge Polanco homering yesterday with a great performance by Wu. Way to bring that electricity early, and that is 1 away. Next up for the Athletics, catching for them, Shea Langeliers. We can hopefully start getting quality starts, from every pitcher, Wu, Kirby, Gilbert, Castillo, Miller, and kind of get back to where we were a few years ago. Even though we couldn't hit back then, it felt like every single starter could hit 10 Ks almost on the regular. And obviously the game has changed, with obviously the pitch comm and a lot of different rules that have been implemented with no shifting and whatnot. 1-0 pitch, and Langeliers grounds out to third, and Gino is there, throw to first, and that is 2 away. There we go. Good defense there early by Gino. Good vibes only, baby. Let's go. And sometimes you just have to wait for that first guy to get things going. And even though we were getting shut out with a no-hitter halfway through the matchup, you got to be patient. Anyone that is a fan, it's not going to be, 3, 4, 5 runs in the first 2 innings every single game. Next up, DHing for the Athletics, Brent Rooker, who hit the solo home run in the first against Wu, and that was it. And luckily, we were able to get the offense going, which we knew we would. We just need another meltdown, either, by Springs here today or the bullpen. First pitch from Kirby to Rooker, high and inside with a sinker, 97 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Rooker in the box, and George Kirby on the mound. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Rooker. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Athletics and the Mariners. And I'm very excited to be able to see Victor Robles. And, honestly, I like him even more than Randy Arozarena. Like, I feel that he hustles, he's a good hitter. And at some point, we may even implement him to the leadoff spot again, but not until the suspension probably is over. And because, again, Randy hasn't really been that good as a leadoff hitter. Maybe slightly better than JP when he was slumping, but we need to get Victor backed off to that leadoff spot once the suspension is over, so that way he can get back into the rhythm that we know that he can do. 2-1 pitch, takes the strike swinging, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Rooker. Let's go, baby. And I saw the Astros early had 3 home runs in the first inning, and I said, holy hell, it's going to be one of those type of games. But I did see that the O's made a rally, and last time I checked, the game was pretty close, but we'll see where it ends up, obviously, as we get a little bit closer to that ending, if it hasn't ended already. I'm going to take a quick peek. Pitch is fouled off. Oh, Astros took the lead, 9-8. Damn it. It was 7-7 last time I checked. Hopefully the O's can rally. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Rooker. It's like we can't really count on the Astros losing. We just got to take care of business on our own. Appreciate that, Sean. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But again, someone's got to hold it down for the Seattle Mariner fan base, and that would be me. Appreciate you very, very much. 3-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Rooker. And it's not like I've been a fan of this team for just a couple years. I mean, I've been a fan of this team for about 40 years, believe it or not. So, I started watching sports and wrestling around 3-4 years old, and I'm 43. So, again, and there's a few people like Marine Bean and Reflect and a few others that have even been fans longer than me, even longer than 40 years. So it's just nice to be able to have the blend of the young and the old. And again, we can come together and rally and root for this team. Tridents up. Top of the first inning, 0-0 Athletics and Mariners. Kirby on the mound, Rooker in the box. And again, there's not going to be anyone else that's going to dedicate, so much time and energy and effort, where I was planning on doing, roughly 155 out of the 162 games. And the only reason I would miss 1 game a month is for a WWE pay-per-view or PLE like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. That would be really the only reason we take a day off or we double dip for 2 streams. And down goes Rooker for out number 3. There we go. But we do everything on the channel. We do NFL, we do college football, we do MLB with the Mariners, we do NASCAR Cup Series, the Truck Series, Xfinity, we do WWE, AEW, NHL, NBA. But typically how it goes is when it's Mariners season, we're doing Mariners. And then when we transition into football, NFL, and college, we'll be doing that Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, a little bit of Ducks and a little bit of Bucks and everything in between. And then after football season's over, then we transition a little bit into NASCAR, NHL with the Kraken and the Blazers and any other good teams that are playing. And then once baseball season gets back up, then we transition back into that again. Flying Monk with a $5 holla. Appreciate you. Absolutely it is. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5. Off to a good foot. 95 to go. And especially, if you have depression or anxiety, you have to really, make sure that you're taking care of your mental health. You're taking care of your body and your mind. And again, once I started, eliminating soda, eating more vegetables and fruits, exercising with my pup on a regular basis, doing 5 miles a day. And I've been doing that 7 days a week for 2 years now. I've dropped 90 pounds, and I honestly have, never been this fit. maybe since my high school days. So again, you have to be, very diligent. You have to be very, very committed. But if you're able to commit, you can turn your life around. And again, once you end up being healthier in the mind and the body, you don't have time to be depressed because you're too busy keeping yourself in a good headspace. Appreciate you, Flying Monk. And appreciate you, Captain. Captain Matches with a $5. Appreciate you. Good to see you, man. I know your job has taken up a lot of your time, stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. And usually it's either you or all day handling the mod duties. And again, appreciate you. Glad you're here. And again, if you can handle the mod duties while you're here, I would appreciate that very, very much until all day shows up. All right, let's see who is up here. It is Randy Rosarina. And I went with all City Connect photos yesterday for good luck, and I'm going with the all whites today to give us that extra luck because we're going to need it here. First pitch to Randy, fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. And on the mound for the Athletics, 10-8 record with an ERA of 4.24, Jeffrey Springs. So he's been pretty good for the A's, but we should be able to get 1 to 3 runs within the first 5 innings. And again, we shouldn't necessarily get no hit within the first 5 innings like yesterday. But again, you don't really ever know with this team. That's why they always kind of keep you on your heels for nail biters all the way to the end. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Rosarina. Let's go, Randy. We need you, baby. And again, slightly better than JP when he was slumping at the leadoff spot, but we haven't really seen Randy produce like a typical leadoff hitter. Like you see the great, players like Trey Turner and Francisco Lindor, and you see what they do as a leadoff hitter. We need something like that, and our answer to that is Victor Robles. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Rosarina. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs to Randy. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Rosarina. Come on, Randy. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is 1 away. Nice punch out there by Jeffrey Springs. We're not haters here. We're going to make sure we're giving love to both teams and both players. Nice job by Jeffrey getting his first punch out on his first batter. Coincidentally, the same thing happened with George Kirby. Next up for the Mariners, can we get home run number 48 to tie Salvador Perez for the most home runs in a single season in the last 150 years? It's the best catcher in baseball. You know this. It's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. I would love for him to homer once, if not twice today, if not once today and once tomorrow. And again, can't wait till he gets that number 48, 49, and then 50. First pitch from Springs to Cal, fouls it off high and inside, 0-1 count. And really the only thing going against Cal at the moment is that he has to start the game off against a left-handed pitcher, and he has to start as a righty. In the pre-All-Star break, it didn't matter. 2 from the left, 2 from the right, 1 from the left, 1 from the right, or just getting solo dingers from the right side or the left side. But after the All-Star break, it seems like he's a little bit better from the left to start the game, and then if they bring in a lefty later to go right, then he can kind of go that route. But let's see if he can buck the trend and get a home run from this right-hand side here on Springs. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Philip Bishop in the building. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. 0-2 pitch in play. And grounded out to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Appreciate you. Stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 15. 85 to go to hit the goal. And then anyone that donates any dollar amount, whether it be $1 or our record, $1,300 for a single donation, we'll throw up some photos for you of your favorite player. Just let me know who it is. And down goes Cal. And next up is Julio Rodriguez. And down goes Julio. That was way too quick. We need guys to work the count. I don't want to see too many outs with just 1 or 2 pitches. I really want to see us get into 5, 6, 7 pitches. And Julio lines out to left for out number 3. Let's work the count, Julio. We need it, man. And you've been absolutely fantastic, and I get it. At one point or another, you're going to try to see if you can get that fastball down the middle, and you can get the home run to get the juices flowing and get the party started. But so many times it leads to pop-ups and ground outs, and it's kind of a wasted at-bat unless you end up homering or getting getting a single or double, which doesn't happen every single time. All right, we're knotted up at 0 here at the end of the first inning. Let's see who's up next for the Athletics. And I've been really good about not calling them Oakland all year, so I take a little pride in that as well. I know when it first happened, a lot of us kept saying Oakland, 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 but I think we've gotten to the point, at this time to say Athletics only. Next up, cleaning up, left fielder, Tyler Soderstrom. Batting second, shortstop in the 5-hole on the thumb today, Jacob Wilson. And batting third, center fielder in the 6-hole, Lawrence Butler. And on the mound for the Mariners, it is George Kirby. 8-6 record with an ERA of 4.22, which is pretty damn good considering he started off the season 0 for 3 after he missed the first 50-plus games with shoulder inflammation in spring training. So George has come a long ways. A lot of our starting pitchers in our bullpen have not been good. Hitting has been pretty good, but again, it's streaky, right? Especially when we're on the road. But overall, hitting has been pretty good. Homers and hits, it's just that starting pitching in the bullpen, they need to catch up, to the hitting, and that is big facts. There we go. We're at 15, 85 to go. Oh, that's an easy question right here, my guy. First pitch from Kirby to Soderstrom, low and away, 1-0 count. Even though I started watching around, 85, 86, it definitely is going to be this guy right here. When you meet Ken Griffey Jr. when you're in first grade, in his rookie year in 1989, and you end up, meeting Ken Griffey Sr. as well, and you get the autograph, and you still have it to this day. No doubt, my favorite player in all the collectibles that I've collected over the years, it's definitely Ken Griffey Jr. But I'm a big Randy Johnson fan, a big Edgar Martinez fan, a big Ichiro fan, a big Julio fan, a big Cal fan. I mean, I got a lot of guys that I've liked, Jay Buhner, and even some of those obscure guys, like Boone or, Tino Martinez or John Olerud, for example. 3-0 pitch, and that is a 4-pitch walk by George Kirby. But definitely Ken Griffey Jr. is my number one. And, when you meet someone like that, it definitely changed my life. And again, if I didn't meet him, and then Sandy Koufax 3 years later, my dad grew up in LA and has been a Dodger fan since the 50s. If I didn't meet Griffey, at 7 and Koufax at 10, maybe I'm not here today. And it definitely had a big influence on my life. Top of the second inning, Wilson in the box, Kirby on the mound after throwing 4 straight balls and walking Soderstrom. Got to be better, baby. Let's go. First pitch from Kirby to Wilson, high and inside, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Wilson. And what are you looking for a pick? Let me know what you're, be a little bit more specific there. 2-0 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Wilson. 7 straight balls for Kirby. Get it together, George. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, which should have been called ball because it's obviously outside the square. But again, we get lucky there. So technically that's 8 straight balls in a row. But that last one, for whatever reason, I don't know if that was a pity call or whatnot, but 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. We're going to need a strikeout and double play, or a double play and a strikeout. 3-1 pitch, takes another strike looking outside of the box. I don't know what's going on with this ump unless the strike zone is going to be expanded all day today. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Wilson. I got you. I didn't know if that was an abbreviation for something else, but I got you. I'll type that in and we'll see if I can get something to come up. But it's kind of cool, that we have so many greats, that have played for us over the years. And Wilson singles the left, Soderstrom hustling from second and getting into third safe. And now they're threatening already here in the top of the second Runners at first and third and no outs. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Let's go. But it kind of depends on the connection that you have, regardless if you're white, black, Latino, Asian, you're going to have a connection, whether you met a player, if they are the same kind of background as you, and again, we've had such a wide variety, of superstars pretty much covering all the bases, with Latino and Asian and, with black, African-American and Caucasian with white, like literally we've had superstars in like every race. So it really gives us a very wide range of a fan base from not only here, but across the globe, which is very, very cool. And obviously we know that we have a very high Japanese fan base, not only just because of Ichiro, but obviously that was a big part of it as well. First pitch to Lawrence Butler, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away with the slider. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Butler. 1-1 pitch, and Butler lines out to third. Thank God Gino is there, and that is 1 away. Good defense there. Nice job, Gino. But again, I got lots of love for, Jay Buhner, Tino Martinez. I always loved John Olerud, even though it wasn't that long. Adam Jones, even though we let him go to the Orioles. Like, there's a lot of guys over the years. Harold Reynolds, you can go back and, look at so many different players that may have had an impact on your life at one point or another, or just, collected cards of a guy, met a guy, got an autograph, went to a game, or just, liked a particular player at that time. And again, we've had such a wide variety. It's hard to choose just one unless you had a personal experience. And like for me, besides Griffey, like I said, Randy is right there. I never met Randy, but I love him just as much as I, do obviously on that Griffey level. Same thing with Edgar, Ichiro, Cal, Julio, and a few others. First pitch from Kirby to Hernandez, takes a strike swinging high and inside, 0-1 count. But I'll tell you, when you end up meeting, your hero at 7 years old, and that the person is going to be more than likely in the Hall of Fame before they even played their first game, the hype around Griffey here in the Pacific Northwest was definitely real. And Hernandez turns into a fielder's choice to the pitcher, and Wilson to second. Soderstrom is out at home. There we go. 2 away. Good defense there by the Mariners. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs. Great fucking job. Great tag by Cal. Beautiful. Let's go. Great job. And we made some blunders, on defense and obviously on offense, getting caught in between the base paths and having some wild throws. Luckily, we were on point right there. Nice job by George, thinking quickly, going down to his stomach and flipping it to Cal. Beautiful. Look at that. What does he think he is? Derek Jeter? Beautiful. Next up is Carlos Cortez. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Cortez. Two-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Cortez. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Cortez. I even knew about Randy, when he was on USC, back in the day, and then played for the Montreal Expos. And then, back then they had Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson. Can you imagine if the Expos never left and they were able to keep those two with Andres Galarraga, Oil Can Boyd? They had a little, pretty nice squad back then, especially with 2 Hall of Fame pitchers. But, obviously the Expos didn't really realize what they had in Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez. Obviously, Randy and Pedro's legacy ended up turning out the way that it did, obviously leaving that organization. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Cortez. Three-one pitch. And in play, and Cortez reached on an infield single to second. Hernandez, Wilson to third. Now that's bases loaded. Uh-oh. I appreciate that. A lot of time, energy. Not a lot of people produce their own show on the fly, as well as do play-by-play, and color, and have to watch multiple screens. But I try to do my best job. Next up, former Seattle Mariner, third baseman Luis Urias. Don't get any ideas, Urias. We need to get this out number 3. I don't mind if we give up a few base hits here and there, but we can't let them come home. No ribbies, no home runs. Find a way to be able to have Kirby stay clean as long as possible. First pitch from Kirby to Urias, high and inside, 1-0 count. Top of the second inning, 0-0 Athletics and Mariners here at T-Mobile. Bases loaded with 2 outs on George Kirby. A little shaky, and you could say that for every single starting pitcher as well as our bullpen. The guys that we normally can trust, we haven't really been able to, right? It's like Brian Wu was good, obviously, on that last start, but previous to those, had a few shaky starts. Then you got George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, who got obliterated against the Phillies, right? Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again, right? And then obviously Castillo and Bryce Miller are very hit and miss normally, right? And then obviously with Brash and Spire and Bizzardo and Mooney, we don't expect those guys to fuck up ever. It's our expectation for them to be great, but we know they're human. And so when they end up doing human type things, like almost blowing the game last night, Munoz, but you ended up getting, 3 pitches for 3 strikes and we end up winning. So, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. 1-1 pitch, and Urias lines out to first, toe tap on the bag by Naylor, and that is out number 3. My boy, we keep it 0-0. Nice job by the Mariners. Let's go. Mike in the building. What's good? All right, let's see if we can get a couple photos lined up here. And what are you looking? Oh, and tweet. Okay, so let me see. You're looking at some wine. And we know Flying Monk is a big wine connoisseur. O&T, where are we? Blanc. And obviously with some of these, photos, they're not going to fit the screen and whatnot. Usually I try to find HD 4K photos with the, specific dimensions that are going to fit the screen, but sometimes, you're going to get, something of that type of nature where it's just going to be kind of that photo. Let me see if I can find something a little bit better. Let me see. That wasn't exactly, and it's kind of hard sometimes to be able to find exactly what you want with the right dimensions and whatnot. But we definitely know that you are a wine connoisseur. So let me see if I can find at least one more. Commercial breaks don't last too long here. But I always try my best to be able to squeeze them in. There's a kind of a compilation of different wines here. But based on what you provided me with that information, that is what came up. Appreciate you. And again, if there's anything else, for Captain or Philip, let me know. If you got a favorite player that you want me to be able to showcase in between the commercial breaks, I got you. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. First pitch to Gino. Takes a strike looking. Low and away. 0-1 count. Let's go, Gino. We know you can play that defense, but we need that offense as well. Let's go, baby. And he was the one that got the party started for us. Thank God. You need certain individuals to step up. And we know Naylor did his job, right? But again, Gino was the guy that got the party started. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs to Gino. 10-8 record with an ERA of 4.24 for Jeffrey Springs. So hopefully we can capitalize with a couple home runs. When the Mariners, when we don't hit any home runs, we typically lose. We got to hit at least 1, but preferably, in that 2 to 4 range is kind of our wheelhouse. 2-2 pitch. Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes here from Springs to Gino. Okay, I didn't know if that first photo was exactly the one that you wanted or not, but I appreciate that. I try my best just based on the information you give me, so. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Springs to Gino. And Monkey with a 50. Appreciate you supporting the cause. 3-2 pitch in play. And Gino grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Stacks. Rax with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much for your support. And again, we get some really good support from certain individuals, you know, day in and day out. Thank you so much. Flying Monk with a 5er, Captain with a 5er, Philip Bishop with a 5er, and Monkey Kung Fu with a 50. We are at 55, 60, 65, 35 to go to hit the goal. Thank you so much. And let me know if there's anything I can do photo-wise for you as well. And I got you. Captain wants Robles, Philip Julio all day. I got you. Oh, yeah, I got a few. Next up is Josh Naylor. 0-1 pitch. And Naylor with a beautiful single to left. Nice job, Josh. Not starting to pick it up after the illness. Well, let's see if we can squeeze in a couple Julios in here. We can squeeze in a couple Cals. And I'll see if I can find something from like the home run derby as well. I mean, we got all the photos. I mean, I grinded out here. And obviously with a little Victor Robles love for Captain. Love to see him back, baby. Let's go. But nice job by Josh Naylor getting the job done, baby. Next up is Mitch Garver. Bottom of the second inning, 0-0 Athletics and Mariners. You know, and I try to, you know, be able to, you know, make baseball fun, you know, for maybe, you know, someone that, you know, is hardcore, you know, a fanatic, or even someone that's, you know, just an occasional watcher. As Garver pops out to second on the first pitch, slider 86 miles an hour, and that is 2 away. Work the count, baby. And there we go, $5 holla. David's getting in on the dono train and has been supporting on a regular basis. I appreciate you. Shout out to David. Stacks Racks with some Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Next up, Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. Welcome back to the team, even though this might be the only game you play before the suspension is handed out, but we'll take it. First pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle with the four-seam fastball. No balls and 2 strikes to Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. Love your defense in right field, and I can always appreciate a guy that's going to put his body on the line like King Griffey Jr. did. And obviously we saw that Giants game early in the year on the road where he crashed into the netting and into the pole and ended up injuring his shoulder, which was devastating for a lot of us Mariner fans. But he's back. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And again, whenever that suspension ends up getting fully done, then we can really celebrate. 0-2 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs to Robles. Let's go, baby. And I mean, you know, a couple months back, they didn't even know, you know, if he was going to end up being available at all this year or not. So it's just great to be able to see him back. And I just like guys that hustle, and he makes the perfect leadoff hitter, you know, for us. I know JP was that guy for years and years and years, and then he kind of slumped, and then they put Randy recently. But again, Victor last year really proved that that's the best guy to have at the position. Once he gets into his rhythm and groove, for the time being, you can keep Randy there. 0-2 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Victor Robles. No surprise, you know, first at bat, but he has been doing pretty well for the Tacoma Rainiers. I've been watching the games over there and checking out the highlights and always looking at the box score to kind of check out how Ben Williamson is doing, Victor, Leo Rivas, and all of the other guys that, you know, we know at some point may get called up to this roster. DX with a 20. Appreciate you. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. End of the second inning. We're still knotted up here at 0. Yeah, Naylor and Gino was a great move. You know, you got to think we got the best player last year in Randy Arozarena at the trade deadline, and we got 2 of the top 4. You know, think about if we didn't get 2 of the top 4. You know, there probably would be a chance that we wouldn't have made even the wild card if we didn't pick up those 2 guys. Like, I still appreciate Ben, you know, but again, Donovan Solano, you know, that's not going to be good enough, you know, after we let go of Rowdy Tellez early in the year. So again, Naylor was hot right out of the gates, and then he got kind of cool. And Gino really wasn't doing anything at the beginning. It was all Naylor, right? But then after Naylor got sick, Gino finally stepped up, home runs, ribbies, and now is starting to be a consistent hitter. And then now we're starting to see Naylor and Gino. Now we need to be able to see Julio and Cal, right? So we can get our Jordan, Cal, and Pippen, Julio together. And then once we get all 4 guys raking, it'll, you know, rub off on the other players as well. You know, guys like JP Crawford, Cole Young, and again, Polo, Randy, and a few others. End of the second, we're knotted up here at 0. Trident's up. Let's go M's. First pitch from Kirby to Kurtz, takes a strike swinging, high and away, 0-1 count. You know, but I got stuff from the home run derby. You know, I got stuff from him when he's at Florida State. You know, I really dig deep to try to give you guys the most, you know, unique experience that you can possibly get on any, you know, stream possible. So, you know, no one else is doing what we're, you know, doing here. So that's what really makes us so unique. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to Nick Kurtz. Oh-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Kurtz. I mean, a lot of people didn't even follow Cal Raleigh back at this point, but it's cool to be able to kind of see where he came from, you know, maybe before he became the big dumper. But I'm always going to give you guys that unique experience, you know, and again, we're going to go deeper, you know, than any other channel, you know, with stats, analytics, and being as specific as possible with those stat lines and analytic lines as well. And obviously giving you the good aesthetics with the thumbnails and the photos as well. 1-2 pitch, and Kurtz pops out to second, and that is 1 away. Down goes Nick. I'm going to go grab my drink here real quick. Next up is Shea Langoliers. Degree temperatures here in the Pacific Northwest. Back-to-back days. A little too hot for my liking, and with my pup as well. First pitch from Kirby to Langoliers, fouls it off, high and inside. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss for Shea Langoliers. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Langoliers. Top of the third, we're knotted up at 0, and it's just a matter of time before we start raking. And again, Victor Robles is back. And again, he's still going to have to serve a 5 to 10 game suspension. You know, he appealed the 10. Hopefully it gets reduced to 5, but at least we get to have him for at least a minimum of this game, maybe longer. 0-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss by Langoliers. See ya. I like that, baby. See ya, Shea. And that is 2 away. Nice job by George Kirby. And again, giving us a little bit of that electricity that we are hoping for. Nice job by George. Keep it going, baby. Next up for George Kirby is Brent Rooker. First pitch to Rooker, slider right down the middle, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Rooker. Plus, I like to be able to do things differently than other streamers where it's just about, their favorite team and their favorite players. And then they just shit on, the opponent, no matter if they're, elite, Hall of Fame or garbage, so it's nice to be able to give love to greatness, regardless if that's on the Mariners or the opposing team. And it'll make us smarter as baseball fans together, where we can follow not just the Mariners, but we're able to become experts on the other teams and scout these other teams as well. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Rooker. But, I follow every single team in the league, and that pretty much goes for every single sport. And then on top of WWE, AEW, NASCAR, everything. So it takes a lot of time and effort. But again, a lot of us, it's who we are, right? We're not average here. We're fanatics. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Rooker. Yeah, Estes was, targeting him even going back to 2024. And again, he got hit 5 times in 15 at-bats. And it's one thing if you're just in AAA and that happens, but when you're recovering from an injury and someone has something against you and they're trying to injure you, I mean, I don't blame Robles. I mean, he got hit right in the chest, and that was the last straw. And again, we're lucky he didn't actually charge the pitcher with the bat and hit the pitcher with the bat. And again, if that would have happened, then obviously we would see no Victor Robles this year, and obviously it would have been a big fine and a big suspension, and you probably would have to wait till next year. So a baseball can be a weapon. They want to talk about the bat, but what happens if you hit someone in the face, or injure them, or they break a bone? It's like they definitely protect pitchers like they protect quarterbacks in the NFL. They try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we know that there are some dirty pitchers in the game. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Rooker. Top of the 3rd inning, 0-0 between the Athletics and the Mariners. Yeah, absolutely, man. I follow everybody, Ducks, Huskies, Cougs, Beavers, I'll follow still the, the Pac-12, even though I've been watching since the Pac-8 and then went to the Pac-10 and Pac-12, and obviously USC, UW, UCLA and Oregon went to the Big Ten and whatnot. But yeah, definitely looking forward to grinding out by doing Duck streams, Mariner streams, a little Blazers, little Kraken, little WWE. We'll do a little bit of everything. And good throw to first, and toe tap on the bag by Naylor, and Rooker is out, and that is out number 3. Let's go. But this is probably my favorite photo as far as like the home run derby festivities, doing it with Papa Dumper, Big Dumper, and then Little Dumper. And, it's crazy that they all played catcher growing up, believe it or not. Dad is a coach. Cal obviously is the best catcher in the game. And even Little Bro, Little Dumper, is going to be making his ways, through high school, college, and who knows, maybe one day Little Dumper will be in the MLB ranks at some point or another. But I thought whenever you can keep the family together and, you can have your dad or your brother, obviously brother was catching, dad was throwing, that made this title so special. And we already know how good Griffey was, winning a few times in the home run derby. And hopefully this won't be the last time that we see Cal. And Cal could definitely win it 2 or 3 times. I just want to be able to see Cal go against Judge and Ohtani. Like, if you really want to be able to put on a show, we want to be able to see the guys that mash, the longest. And then, even if it's only just for one time, before they retire, I would love to be able to see Cal, Ohtani, and Judge in a home run derby together. I think it would be just absolutely amazing. Next up for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 3rd, shortstop J.P. Crawford. On deck is Cole Young, and back at the top of the order, Randy Arozarena. First pitch from Springs to JP, high and inside with a 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Oh, I wouldn't have bet. Yeah, I wouldn't have bet on that, bro. Again, because if you actually paid attention to those field conditions, it's a soccer field.
So you knew those guys were. I watched the whole game, and those guys were very rusty. They were slipping all over the place. A lot of sloppy football in that first college football game with two ranked teams, and even the dad of the starting quarterback that lost, ended up fighting a fan, or a fan tried to fight him, and they were scrapping after the game. So yeah, definitely, I wouldn't be betting on college football, let alone that game. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Springs to Crawford. But I'm definitely excited for Texas and Ohio State, and we'll be grinding out Oregon Duck games on the channel as well. Huskies, are going to be probably one of the sleeper teams in college football that is not getting really any type of love yet. But as the season progresses, don't be surprised if the Huskies are a little bit better than people think. And I expect a pretty good jump from the Huskies this year. And again, I've been following, everyone in the Pacific Northwest, Beavs, Ducks, Cougs, Huskies, and obviously everybody else. And a lot of teams have new quarterbacks, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, a lot of the elite teams are starting over, with a brand new QB. So, Natty will definitely be up for grabs for sure. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Springs to Crawford. Yeah, I mean, you're better off, instead of betting on games, you're better off like on investing, in certain things, whether that be like Bitcoin or, even like sports cards, like PSA, BGS graded cards, like investing in a Cal Raleigh auto rookie, and it's better to put money away on something like that, or even going to a card shop and dropping $20 on a Cal Raleigh rookie or a Julio rookie rather than spending $20 on a bet and then losing it. Because then you at least have the card, and then the card will go up, and then you'll have that in your, you have to be able to, it's one of those things that people always think they're going to win. And, you got to think if anyone was going to bet, right, based off sports, you think it would be me, right? With all the ESP and all the reading and the film study, covering all the teams and all the players. And even I don't bet. So again, it's, everyone has to go through those trials and tribulations until you realize, this maybe isn't for me. It's kind of one of those things that even the people that show off and act like they win a lot of money, oh, hey, I won $300, but they never tell you about the 2,000 that they lost prior to winning that 300. Facts. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs the Young. And I've had some friends, get into gambling pretty bad. And again, there's addictions, of many, many forms, right? With alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and gambling addiction can be just as bad as those things, even worse in some cases. So, you want to make sure that if you're working hard for your money, make sure you're investing in something that you love, like Julio rookies or Cal Raleigh rookies or something like that. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs to Cole Young. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Springs to Young. 2-2 pitch in play, and Young flies out to left, and that is 2 away. Down goes Cole, and I'd like to see Cole's progression, as a rookie. And again, it's not like we're not going to see Ben Williamson again. Highly unlikely that we're going to re-sign, Gino. So we'll see where it goes. But again, we need Ben to be better as a hitter. We know he's amazing at defense, but we need to get that hitting up. And he's actually been hitting pretty well for the Tacoma Rainiers as of late. First pitch from Springs to Arozarena takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. But definitely re-signing Naylor long-term would be ideal. And if we could come to terms with a cheap contract for Gino, I wouldn't mind. But if he wants like the big money, then we more than likely would have to let him go. And that would probably be smart, even though I love the good vibes only. Gino gives you defense, offense. Yes, he's streaky. Yes, he's getting older. But it's a different type of vibe on this team. There's certain guys where you feel a vibe. With Ben Williamson, there's not really a vibe, but with Gino, even when he's struggling, you still feel like he's encouraging the guys in the dugout, and there's a certain type of aura around him. And, he just hit his 40th home run, and it's not like he's going to do that every year. And a lot of them, those were in Arizona, a very hitter-friendly ballpark compared to T-Mobile. But again, we have to appreciate everything that we have right now. And down goes Randy Arozarena for out number 3. End of the 3rd inning. We're still knotted up here at 0. 2 hits for the Athletics, 1 for the Mariners. And again, we'll start raking, whether that we have to wait for Springs to exit and we get a meltdown by one of their guys in the pen. But again, even when it was 0-0 or 1-0 yesterday with Rooker with that home run early, and we were getting a no hit on us with 0 hits like in the 5th inning, I told you guys, just be patient. Eventually the homers will come, and then we ended up getting quite a few. Everyone in the middle of the lineup homered. Gino started it, Naylor added on, and then we even got a Polo home run. So again, sometimes you just got to be a little bit patient. End of the 3rd, 0-0, A's and Mariners. Michael in the building. What's good? Yeah. And, even though Gino statistically, his numbers are a little bit down compared to where he was defensively when he was on our team a few years ago, he's not really the same defensive player. But with that being said, he still can make a gem once in a while. So, and again, I'm glad that he's on the team. Judah in the building. What's good? Next up in the top of the 4th inning, 0 for 0 with a base on ball, left fielder Tyler Soderstrom. Batting second, 1 for 1, up-and-coming stud, shortstop Jacob Wilson. And batting third, 0 for 1, center fielder Lawrence Butler. And if you're just looking at this, top 6, Kurtz, rookie, amazing. Langoliers, underrated. Brent Rooker, one of the best DHs in the game. Soderstrom, hot as of late, and at the beginning of the year when Polo was hot for home run, so was Soderstrom. Jacob Wilson, up-and-coming shortstop, and then Lawrence Butler. That's pretty fucking solid, man. I'm hoping one day the Mariners win the division, right, and then the A's get second, over the Astros and the Rangers and, the Angels. Angels had their moment already. We're always going to fight and battle with them. Trout is not really the same player anymore, and they had the Trout-Ohtani experience. That's over, right? And we know the Astros and Rangers are always going to, be our rivals. But, I low-key kind of root for this A's team out of the other teams in the division. This will be the only team that I root for within the division to get better. Obviously I'm not going to root for them to beat us, but again, if I had to choose one out of, the rest of the teams, I like the A's. I like what they're building. And hopefully one day we'll be Mariners first place, and then the A's getting the wild card over the Astros or the Rangers. Nothing would make me happier. I like seeing shitty teams get good. We've been there, right? We didn't make the playoffs for 20 plus years. It's cool seeing teams that were shitty that end up getting, better as the years go on. 1-2 pitch. And Jacob Wilson here in the box. First pitch to Jacob Wilson, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Wilson. 2-0 pitch, popped up, and Julio tries to get it, but cannot. And him and Randy have to have better communication out there. It kind of felt like someone should have caught that. And a big double by Jacob Wilson there. Come on, guys. Next up, 0 for 1 is Lawrence Butler. First pitch from Kirby to Butler. Takes a strike swinging high and inside, 0-1 count. Absolutely. How are you doing? It's been a minute. We've missed you. I still watch NASCAR on the regular. 0-1 pitch. Low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Butler. But yeah, definitely excited for college football as well. Yeah, and obviously watching from back in the day with Canseco and Mark McGuire and Carney Langsford and Dennis Eckersley and going through all of those individuals. 1-1 pitch in play, and Butler lines out to center, and that is 2 away. Good defense there by Julio, finally making up the ground where he should have been originally and getting that big out. Julio's, hey, it's me. There we go, baby. Julio made up for it there, almost in the identical spot. And you can't count on Randy in left field. You know, sometimes it feels like he takes plays off and he kind of jogs towards the ball. Like, I want to see some fucking hustle. Julio will hustle. Victor will hustle. But at least Randy has been a little bit better at that as of late. Next up in the 7 hole, second baseman Daryl Hernandez. Top of the 4th inning, runner at second, Jacob Wilson. And Hernandez with a little blooper right in front of Julio. Runner trying to come home and throws off and safe. And that is 1-0 Athletics as Jacob Wilson crosses home. And we saw Julio make a big throw home that Cal bounced off his chest to keep the runner at third. But that time the throw was a little wild. And again, we're down 1-0 here early. Well, not as early as yesterday in the 1st inning, but obviously in the 4th. But we can definitely make up that ground, no problem. You knew it was a matter of time before the A's get something going. Kirby has been a little off. First pitch from Kirby to Cortez, low and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Cortez. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And we usually shoot for 5 to 15 subs. But lately, we've been able to get 20 to 50 on a few streams as well. So we'll see where we are at, obviously, with those numbers. Where are we at on the likes right now? Hopefully, we're over 50 at this point since we're at around the halfway mark. We have a 111 in the room, so we've been able to hit 100 to 150 pretty frequently. And it looks like we're at 48. 2 more to get to 50. So if we can get half of the 60 people in the room to hit the like button, then we'll be at that 75 number. And so for the people that are in the room, make sure you're holding the other people in the room accountable. So that way I don't have to mention it as often throughout the stream, whether that be you're a mod or just a regular or someone that just wants us to succeed here on the NWSF. Oregon is going to be very, very good. And again, Dante Moore, Decorine Moore, could be like Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State at wide receiver. He's incredible. Again, schedule super easy. That's why I wish we were still in the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 teams were better than the middle to bottom half of the Big Ten teams. We don't have anybody really tough on the schedule except for Penn State on the road. So essentially, Oregon could go 11-1. But again, if they're not battle tested, that makes me nervous, because then if they go to the playoffs, you could end up having the same thing that happened last year when Ohio State just absolutely stomped us, But again, Chip Kelly was there and he's no longer there. He's with the Raiders with Pete Carroll, thank God. So I don't have to worry about Chip beating us, with Ohio State and whatnot. But definitely think that we will be in the playoffs this year. And, obviously we're going to be shooting, for, a trip, to the playoffs, and then we'll kind of see where it goes. But obviously when you've been building with Dan Lanning, your ultimate goal is to win a natty. And obviously I want to be able to experience a natty with Oregon. And I also want to experience a championship with the Mariners before I'm gone. So hopefully I'll be able to experience those things more than once. But even if it's only one time each, I would be totally okay with that. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Athletics. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. Except for the Mariners, 0-for-1, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Tridents up, baby. Let's go. On deck, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Let's go, baby. First pitch from Springs to Raleigh, high and inside, 1-0 count. And Springs, 10-8 record with an ERA of 4.24. So again, it seems like a lot of pitchers that we've been going against lately all have pitch like they're Cy Young candidates, regardless if they're actually a good pitcher or not. But again, if we have to wait for the starter to go out and then, have a meltdown by one of the guys in the pen, so be it. We just have to hope that we don't equal that same type of meltdown from our bullpen, which has been happening a little bit more frequently than we would like. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Springs to big dumper. Let's go, Cal. And if it was me, I would rather play Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Give me all the tough teams. We don't shy away from good competition, but with so many fucking teams in the Big Ten now, it's like, 1 year you might have an amazing, tough schedule with a lot of top 25 teams like Oregon did last year. And then this year, it's like you got one tough game, and then I'm not going to say a bunch of cupcakes because you're still going to have to earn them, but I definitely think that Oregon could easily go 10-2, 11-1. Hell, maybe even undefeated if they win that road game against Penn State, even though that environment will be very hostile. 1-2 pitch in play, and Cal grounds out to first, and that is one away. Nice flip to the pitcher there for out number one. But I'll be watching Georgia. I'll be watching Bama. I'll be watching, Ohio State. I'll be watching everybody. Texas. And to start off, with Ohio State, Texas in week one, man, that is going to be electric. I just kind of sucks that it's on at 9 a.m. in the morning, but, I definitely will be watching. First pitch from Springs to Julio. High and away, 1-0 count. Let's go, J-Rod. Let's see if we can get a solo dinger by J-Rod to tie it up 1-1 for us. What do you say? Bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Athletics. Yeah, the college football playoff format is garbage. It's like, you shouldn't be rewarding teams that obviously aren't as good, and then they're continuously playing. And then when you end up being great, you have these buys. And obviously the teams are rusty after those buys, and every team that had a buy, they lost. I'd rather continuously play than have like a fucking month off. That was kind of a terrible thing by the committee. 1-0 pitch, and Julio hit deep to center, and that is 2 away. Next up, the guy that got the party started yesterday. You know who it is. Good vibes only. Eugenio Suarez. Could he do it again? Let's go fucking Gino. Tridents up. Good vibes only. First pitch to Gino. High and away. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Springs to Gino. Yeah, I do think the Mariners can win the game today. Will they win? We have to wait and see. AR in the building, what's good? Cody in the building, what's good? But, again, pitching needs to be better. Our starters haven't really been that good. Great start by Wu yesterday. And again, when you can end up doing things that most guys can't do, besides maybe like a Cy Young from back in the day, pitching every single start past the 6th inning. Brian Wu is our number 1 now. And again, he started off as our 5, but he clearly is our 1 now. And we just need Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo, and Miller to catch up to him. And hopefully Brash, Bizzardo, Spire, and Mooney can get back to their winning ways because they've been a little shaky lately. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike from Springs to Gino. Three-one pitch, and that is a walk for Gino. I was wondering what happened to you, and I knew, obviously your schedule and then your grandkids and everything, but I was hoping for the best that you didn't get like COVID or get sick or pass away, because I didn't know what happened to you, and it's just great to be able to see that you're still living, you're still breathing, you're here, and I missed you, man. We have people as young, as 15 to 18 that are on the channel, but we even have people in the 80 to 90 plus range that watch us on a regular basis all over the globe. And it's cool to be able to get the perspective of young, individuals, young fans, middle age, where I'm at. And then obviously people that are over 40, in that 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 range. It's just a nice blend, of all different races and ages all over the globe supporting the NWSF and myself. And I appreciate you guys. Next up is Josh Naylor. First pitch to Naylor, takes a strike swinging low and away, 0-1 count. And we've seen Jacob Wilson and a few of these other athletic players get the job done. Let's see if we can get Josh Naylor. He already has a hit in his first at-bat. Let's see what we can get here. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Springs to Naylor. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Springs to Naylor. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away, which should have been called ball, but called strike. And the strike zone is expanded by at least 6 inches to a foot because there's been a lot of pitches that have been high and away or low and away that no doubt should be called ball, but this guy's calling it strike. So Again, as long as you're doing that for both teams and you're even every single time, whether it be the Athletics or the Mariners, don't play any favoritism. Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 A's with a runner at first and 2 outs. Springs on the mound, Naylor in the box. Come on, Josh. Give me some electricity, baby. All it takes is that first batter, to get that first home run, that first RBI, and then you notice how the Mariners take off after that. It's not like we usually just get one. Usually that will lead to a little bit more in that particular inning, or we just get one and we tie it, and then the next inning or the inning after, we explode for like 3 or 4 runs. So, hopefully we can end up tying it up sooner than later. 3-2 pitch, and that is a walk, low and at the knees. Here we go. We're very good with 2 outs in 2025. We're very good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and hopefully we can end up getting something big right here. Next up is DHing Mitch Garver, which is probably the only spot that needs to be upgraded. And obviously when we have a right-handed pitcher, it'll be Polo. But again, you could put Dominic Canzone there. You could put Luke Raley there. You could put Garver there. But I would love for them to call up Harry Ford, but I don't know if they're going to do that this year. But that would give us a better backup catcher than Garver and a guy that can hit. Or even bringing back Ben Williamson back up and having Ben, DH. Who cares? Having him give Gino a day off once in a while, and maybe even throwing that guy's hat back into the mix. We know he can play some great D, and he's been getting a little bit better in AAA at hitting for the Tacoma Rainiers. But, there's quite a few guys. There's at least half of the guys on the Tacoma Rainiers that could actually be on this team. We are incredibly deep. It's the deepest I've ever seen the Tacoma Rainiers in my lifetime. And then again, eventually we're going to have Cade Anderson and Durangelo in the starting lineup. Eventually Bryce and Castillo maybe Castillo probably won't be on the team pretty soon. And then Miller will have to battle for that last spot because eventually it's going to be Wu, Gilbert, Kirby, Cade Anderson, who just won a natty for LSU, and then Durangelo, who can pitch from the left and the right side. Once we have that starting 5, watch out. We are going to be very, very good. Bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Athletics. First pitch, and Garver lines out to center. We keep runners stranded at first and second, unfortunately, and that is out number 3. Good attempt there by Lawrence Butler with the catch. You've been seeing some good athleticism out of Butler and Julio in the outfield. And again, eventually our time, we only have a hit so far. We had no hits within the first 5 innings. So eventually, that home run or big RBI will happen. It just... I know for a lot of us, we want it now. We want results immediately. But if you're a fan of this Mariner team, again, sometimes you have to just patiently wait, even though it hurts, having to wait this long to be able to get on the board. But, eventually we will get on the board, and I still think that we can definitely win this game. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Let's see who's up next here for the Athletics. Next up for the Athletics, third baseman, former Seattle Mariner, Luis Urias. Batting second, one of the best rookies in the game. 4 home runs in a single game like Gino this year. First baseman, Nick Kurtz. And batting third, catcher, 0 for 2 with a K, Shea Langeliers. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And I haven't even checked to see what we're at on the sub count. And again, we're still only at 50 likes. Mods in the room. Again, you need to be able to make sure you're holding people accountable. We got 111 in the room. We only got 50 likes. We want to make sure that we have those people, hold them accountable. Let them know, we need to hit these numbers so that way that we can get into the algorithm for YouTube. So that way when people are looking for Mariners, they're looking for A's, they're looking for MLB, regardless if they're in the United States or across the globe, that we can get into the algorithm and that we can get more views that way, which will turn into more subs, more shares, more donos, and more regular members. And that's what we want, for the experience here for the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Let's go. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still hitting usually 100 to 200, but it would be great if we can get to a point where I don't even have to mention it once in a stream and it's already there. We'll get to that point. We're just not there yet. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby Urias. What's good, brother? That's a good question. I mean, we have to see, who are going to be the teams that are going to get the expansion. The three that have been mentioned, 1-2 pitch in play, and Urias flies out to center. Julio is there, and that is one away. So Portland, Nashville, and Charlotte have been, I think, the teams that have been, mentioned, or cities, that have been mentioned that could, end up getting it. But again, if it ends up being like, the Angels, and like Portland and the Athletics in Seattle, hell, we'll win the division for the next 50 years, but I don't know if I want that. I like playing, the Rangers and the Astros and whatnot, and, we'll have to kind of wait and see. But if that ends up happening, we're not going to have a 162-game season anymore. And I don't know. It seems like a little bit of like greed, it's like money and whatnot. Like I kind of like it the way that it sits with 30, but again, it's almost inevitable. It's going to be 32 teams, like the NFL, but and then it really comes down to where the alignment is. And we've seen a lot of people with like mock drafts, but like the alignment on where they think the teams are going to be aligned and whatnot. But, we'll see where it goes. 2-0 pitch, low and away. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Kurtz. Top of the 5th, 1-0 A's. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I hope that you're doing better. Did that just happen to you recently? 3-0 pitch, and that is a 4-pitch walk. And Kurtz goes to first. Next up is Shea Langoliers. Also, I don't think people realize like how many button clicks and how much work I'm actually doing. Like if people could actually be here in the studio and see how many screens that I'm looking at, stat pages, MLB.com, ESPN.com, all the games that are going on, having to monitor the chat, call the game, do the photos. Like no one else is doing what we're doing here. A lot of times people are just hitting start stream and then you're just staring at them the whole time. They're not constantly working and grinding and moving and clicking, the different buttons throughout the format, 3,000 times a stream. So, if people would really understand how much hard work it is to be able to give you, what type of performance you get here on the daily. And I don't accept anything other than greatness here. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. High and inside, no balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Langoliers. And, I don't just do the photos, for just me, I do it for you guys too. So that way we can get more familiar, with the faces to the names. And it definitely makes the broadcast better. So that way you don't have to just look at the host the whole time. 0-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Langoliers. Let him know, Captain. Top of the 5th inning, 1-0 A's. Runner at first with 1 out. Kirby on the mound, Langoliers in the box. And hit deep, and Langoliers flies out to left. Randy Arozarena is there, 2 away. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and sometimes, that's the thing that happens. I'm so thankful that you're okay. And again, sometimes changing the diet, exercising more, and again, I've cut out fast food. I don't even really eat beef. I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits. I'm walking 5 miles a day. I'm doing it 7 days a week. But obviously, if I didn't have my pup, that's an American Staffordshire Terrier, which is kind of like in the Hitty family, I have to walk her a lot, to keep her in shape. And, if I didn't have her, I probably wouldn't be walking as much, but I'm really thankful that I have her because it really has changed my life for the better. My mental health, I don't have depression or anxiety anymore, and I haven't for the last couple years, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And then that is out number 3, little dribbler. Gino, force out to second to Cole Young, and that is out number 3. All right, let's get on the fucking board, huh? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that happened to you, but I'm happy that you are okay, and hopefully the diet change and the walks, it'll be tough in the beginning, but remember, everything is, a routine. Once you do anything in life for 3 weeks, 21 days, it becomes habit and it becomes easy. It's just those first 21 days, and sometimes just the act of thinking that you have to do something is the shittiest part. Like, oh fuck, I got to go walk or jog or whatever. It doesn't sound that appealing. Rather than sitting and watching a game or watching a movie or playing a video game or whatever, right? But once you actually get the shoes on and you get outside, you actually start to realize how beautiful nature really is, especially in the Pacific Northwest. I don't even wear earbuds when I go on walks, and I never have. I want to hear the birds. I want to interact with my dog. I want to make sure that I'm, enjoying all the sounds and all the smells, where I'm out with flowers and wherever I'm at, if I'm near water, you want to have that tranquility, and you want to make sure that, you feel those things, and I feel like a lot of us, with social media, we're kind of cooped up, whether you work from home or not, or inside an office or at a store, it's nice to be able to get within your roots. Like, why do you think when people go to the beach, for a weekend and then become refreshed, for another 2 weeks after, because you need to be able to have water near you, and it's good for the soul. Big facts. 1-0 Athletics. It's the bottom of the fifth. Time to get on the fucking board. Let's go. Next up, right fielder in the 7 hole. Welcome back. 0 for 1 with a K. He's trying to bowl down and mow down the competition. Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. We don't know how many games that we're going to have before they make the ruling. 10-game suspension should get cut down to 5 if MLB is smart, but who knows if they will. But I'm glad that Victor is here, and let's see if Victor can get on base with a single. And he has been getting singles, doubles, home runs in AAA for the Tacoma Rainiers. So, but I'm not sure if you're going to get anything out of him today. And he decides to bunt, but grounds out at first. 1 away. Wow. And again, if Robles is going to bunt, bro, you got to bunt towards third, not towards first. But we have seen him bunt in the past. And that's one thing I love about Victor Robles. He's actually a guy that can fucking bunt and get on base. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to beat out, the tag there at first. But I like what I see there. Nice job by Victor Robles, even though he didn't get on base there. Hopefully he'll be able to get on, at least one time in this matchup. Next up, first baseman Josh Naylor, JP Crawford, First pitch to JP, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. Come on, JP. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Springs on the mound, JP in the box. 0-2 pitch, and lines out to first, and that is 2 away. Come on, JP. Next up is second baseman Cole Young. It's a Cole world, baby. Let's go, Cole. Good play by Kurtz on that JP Crawford hit. First pitch from Springs to Young, high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Springs to Young. Come on, Cole. Someone's got to get the party started with 2 outs. Let's go, baby. Let's get it. And down goes Cole, and that is out number 3. Still haven't been able to get into a rhythm just yet, but again, hopefully, in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, that's where we shine. And unfortunate that we weren't able to get more than a hit at this point. It's almost like a mirrored image of yesterday, right? Except Brett Rooker hit a home run in the first, but essentially we were down the same score, 1-0 in back-to-back games. And we have a harder time beating the Athletics and the Angels rather than the Rangers and the Astros. Have you guys noticed that? And the reason is playing down to the competition, even though the A's have been pretty good within the last 30 games. They have one of the best records in MLB. But again, when you play down to the competition, you don't always get your best results. Not like we're cocky and thinking that we're going to easily win, but it's like, when we play the Astros and Rangers, we're a little bit more focused, and we're a little bit more on our game. When we play the Angels and the A's, even though they're not as good and they're not playoff teams, it feels like we're kind of coasting. And then we're just kind of, patiently waiting for someone to make the big play. but it's almost like, who's it going to be? And then everyone is like that Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other. You, like, who's it going to be, you know? But eventually someone will step up, you know, just like yesterday it was Gino and then Naylor, then Polo. But eventually, you know, we know that good things are going to happen to those who wait. Let's go, baby. Trident's up. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes. We're at 72. We have at least 40 people in the room that haven't hit that like button. If we can get half of those, and 18 or 28, excuse me, then we'll be at the goal at 100. Let's go, baby. Next up for the Athletics, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, left fielder Tyler Soderstrom. Batting second, shortstop in the 5-hole, Jacob Wilson. And batting third, center fielder Lawrence Butler. First pitch from Kirby to Soderstrom, fouls it off, low and away, 0-1 count. Appreciate that, Sean. It's a lot of hard work, man. You know, but again, I feel like I got an advantage on every other YouTuber also because, you know, I did phone sales for like half of my life, you know, for big corporations and big companies, you know, where I would work for like Verizon Business and I would be calling business owners in New York and in Boston. And let me tell you, those are some of the rudest people on planet Earth. But if you can, you know, be honest and genuine, you know, and not back down, you know, again, you'll gain their respect and you'll be able to, you know, have a job. And again, you know, being able to talk to anybody of any race, of any age, regardless if they're rude or not, you know, really gave me an advantage to be able to do things like this. And obviously my love of sports as well. But, you know, not very many people have had kind of the same background as me, you know, going into YouTube. And this will be my 13th year, 9 on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years streaming, and it'll be my 10th year on YouTube. Unbelievable. 2-2 pitch, low and inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count is full from Kirby to Soderstrom. All of the individuals, you know, are still around. Some, you know, show up, you know, here and there and whatnot. But, you know, Sarah pops in once in a while here and there. So, I mean, again, I can't control, you know, when people show up or, you know, how often that they're going to be here. But obviously, we've made a big jump, you know, in likes and subs and donos and as well as sub count, you know, doing Mariner streams this year. We finally broke through. And, you know, we got a big push, obviously, at the beginning of the season, you know, and then obviously during the Home Run Derby, we hit 25,000 views. And then on the All-Star game, like 16,000. And, you know, instead of getting, you know, like 1,000 views per stream, now, you know, we're doing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 kind of on a regular basis. So, you know, obviously the next goal is to be hitting, you know, 4,000 to 5,000 on the regular, and then eventually hitting 10,000 on the regular, and then it's continuing to grow this channel. And then obviously I'll still be doing football and, you know, the other things, you know, later in the season. I actually did some NASCAR early in the year before baseball season started. I did NASCAR Cup Series, I did trucks and Xfinity, but you didn't show up. So I didn't know if you were alive or not, or if you were, you know, sick or whatnot. So I was hoping that you were still around, but again, you know, I know people are busy and they have lives and whatnot, but you know, I was hoping when I started doing some of those NASCAR streams that you would show up, but I didn't see you. But I obviously, you know, can't do them on a regular basis when I'm doing this, so. 0-2 pitch, and Wilson flies out to left. Randy is there, and that is 1 away. Yeah, Mariners are a good team. We're a playoff team. We're World Series contenders since the American League isn't as good as the National League. You know, obviously, if you look at the, you know, Phillies and the Brewers and the Cubs, as Wilson flies out. 1 away. Next up is Lawrence Butler. But if you look at the Phillies, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Padres, those teams, even though the Dodgers haven't really been as good in the second half of the season, they're still going to be World Series contenders. And then you got the Astros and Mariners that have been up and down. Blue Jays and Tigers have been good. And then obviously Yankees are reeling and the Red Sox have gotten better. And the Guardians are finally above 500. So, I mean, if it's the Tigers and the Blue Jays are the 2 best teams, I don't really know if those are teams that are good enough to represent. I think that if you're an Astro fan, a Mariner fan, a Red Sox fan, or a Guardian fan, you feel like you have a chance against the Tigers and the Blue Jays. But, obviously Phillies, Cubs, Brewers, Dodgers, Padres, those teams are on another level. But it all really depends on what the matchups are in the World Series. And, depending on the matchup, the American League could win, but it definitely feels like the National League overall is better with their top tier teams this year. But you never know. If you get hot and healthy at the right time, anything can happen. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lawrence Butler. 1-2 pitch. Knuckle curve, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Butler. Two-two pitch, high and inside. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Butler. But again, I always got good numbers really with duck streams, and I knew eventually that I would break through with the Mariners as well. And then when we do Blazers and Kraken, those are more just like filler streams as we're waiting for baseball to start and football ends. But we'll do a lot of Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. I'll do Ducks and Bucks and all the other good teams in between. And I'm definitely excited for college football and the NFL. But I got to make sure that I'm grinding it out. So 3-2 pitch and big swing and a miss. Down he goes. Down goes Butler. And then we got Caleb Ferguson warming up in the pen with, I believe, Bizzardo. We'll see who they decide to bring in. Throw at second. Safe. JP with the tag, but doesn't get him. Next up is second baseman Daryl Hernandez. 1 for 2 with a RBI. Top of the 6th inning, 1-0 A's. Yeah, and if you really look at the American League, the best chance, to do some damage might be the Blue Jays and the Tigers because they've been, pretty consistent. But does anyone really think that either one of those teams, Tigers 1, Blue Jays 2, could actually beat the Phillies, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Dodgers, or the Padres in a 7-game series? Probably not. They might be able to win a game or 2, but, they might get smoked. Like, the National League teams are so strong. I wouldn't assume that you would get like a 4-game sweep, but it could be like, whatever team represents the National League winning in 5, against kind of an American League team that's a little off, or winning in 6 if we're lucky. But I don't know if there's an American League team that could actually win 4 games in a World Series against those National League teams. And wild pitch, Soderstrom the third off that wild pitch from Kirby. Come on, George. Wow. Okay, well, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, and I was a little nervous. I thought that you might have went to the hospital or got really, really sick, and I was just praying that you didn't pass away and whatnot. Because again, we got people as young as 15 to 18 here, but we also have people that are in their 80s and 90s that are here on a regular basis. And, you just never know. With everything that's going on, obviously in this world. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Hernandez. And when I saw your comment, you said NASCAR, Chase Elliott. And I was like, oh my God, it's him. But I didn't get a chance really to talk to you yesterday. So I figured if you came back today that, since they've changed the format, now it's not just a regular username. It's like an @ hashtag where they kind of switched up your usernames now on YouTube. So, but I'm very, very happy to see that you're here. And hopefully that you're doing a little bit better. And hopefully the grandkids are doing good too. 2-1 pitch. Low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Hernandez. 3-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Hernandez. Top of the 6th. 1-0 Athletics with a runner at third and 2 outs. Come on, George. Finish strong, baby. Kirby on the mound. And Daryl Hernandez in the box. Yeah, but we usually do a little Blazers, little Kraken, just as filler streams. I do WWE typically once a month for the PLE. And Hernandez lines out to left for out number 3, and we keep that runner stranded at third. Thank God. There we go. Time to get on the board. It's, we've waited way too long. We had to wait this long yesterday. Time to get on the board. I want a Randy single, and I want either a Cal and Julio home run or both. Let's go. I mean, even if Randy ends up taking a walk or he gets plunked or just getting a single, just get on base. And hopefully we can get a big dumper home run. Let's go, Cal. And then batting third is Julio Rodriguez. Randy 0 for 2 with a K, unacceptable as a leadoff hitter. I want Trey Turner, Francisco Lindor numbers, not what we get out of JP and Randy. That's why we need Victor Robles to get healthy and obviously get off this suspension. Batting second, the best catcher in baseball, 0 for 2, big dumper, Cal Raleigh, and obviously had to bat from the right-hand side into the left. And that's what's been kind of holding him back lately because teams know that our righty lineup isn't as good as our lefty lineup. And batting third, 0 for 2, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. I need one of these, and then I need one of these. And is that too much to ask? Let's go, baby. We're down 1-0. We just need somebody to get it going here. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And we've gained 7 subs so far. 75 subs to go to get to 21,600. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired. And if we can get an update on the likes and the dono train, that would be greatly appreciated. 5, 10, 15, 20, 40. We're at 90. $10 more to hit the goal on the dono train. Yeah, and everyone misses you, Michael. We were, praying for you. And again, hopefully we can get some of the other regulars when I used to stream back in the day, with Sarah and Shep and Odin. And, we still get some of those people, coming in, but it's kind of here and there. We've gained, quite a few, new individuals to this channel since last year. First pitch from Springs to Rosarina. We need Springs to get the fuck out of there so we can start raking, damn it. Takes a strike looking right down the middle to Randy, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 90 miles an hour by Springs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Rosarina. 1-1 pitch, high and away, missing the strike zone with that slider by 5 feet. 2 balls and 1 strike from Springs to Rosarina. Springs 10-8 with a 4.24 ERA, so we should have already gotten 1 to 3 runs by now. 2-1 pitch, high and away with the cutter. 3 balls and 1 strike to Randy Rosarina. Hopefully this will be a walk, and Randy will be patient here. What's the pitch count? Kirby's at 98, so he's done. And Springs is only at fucking 68 pitches? You gotta be shitting me. I mean, hell, Springs could pitch this whole fucking game. And that's what happens when you swing at the pitch count too soon. When you're sitting at a 0. Too many easy outs for him to be in the 6th inning with under 70 pitches. My God. Get his ass out of there. But hopefully they'll pull him, no matter what. So maybe 1 more inning. Maybe Springs will pitch into the 7th unless they decide that they want him out for a different player. But, you don't want to mess up a good thing. Oh, here we go. Back. See ya. Randy Rosarina with the home run that we were waiting for. You just have to be patient, just like yesterday. My boy. And we're knotted up at 1. Trident's up. Let's go, Adams. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Way to go, Randy. Hell yeah. Crushed it. Let's go. Career high, 24th homer, big bang. Let's go. Let's see if we can get Cal and Julio to homer as well. And Randy heard that talk. Hey, I haven't been playing very well. I need to play like Trey Turner and Francisco Lindor at the leadoff spot. And guess what? He fucking delivered. Nice job, Randy. Randy has been so overdue. He should have homered in the Tampa Bay series, against his former team. But hey, better late than never. Let's go. There we go. Flying Monk with a 5er. Let's get it, baby. That's home run number 1, baby. We got a couple more to go, and I do feel that we are going to hit a couple more. Stacks, racks, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Nice job, Randy. My boy. It's crazy how we have to wait so fucking long to have these big plays happen, but you just got to be patient, baby. You the man. Now we're tied up at 1. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's see if Cal can get home run number 48 and tie Salvador Perez for the most home runs ever hit in 150 years in MLB history. And an 0-2 count to Cal. Come on, Cal. And maybe with that home run, they'll end up pulling Springs now. And, usually that's the case. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Cal. And once they bring in the righty and he can go lefty, that's when we might be able to get the home run out of Cal. Just hasn't been able to get the rhythm in his right-hand swings. Be patient, Cal. We might be able to get a home run from you in the 8th or the 9th inning, I believe. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. Give me one of these, baby. Single, double, triple, home run. Let's go, Julio. Let's go. I mean, again, if you're, new to MLB or, you just do parlays and you do bets, you have to understand the Mariners have only had 4 good teams, count them 4, in the last 40 years. We had a 20-year drought by not making the playoffs. We were good in 95, Ken Griffey Jr., 95 Slide, 97, AL MVP, Ken Griffey Jr., 2001, Ichiro's rookie year, and Cal Raleigh with the home run walk-off against the Athletics in 2022. And then this year could be the 5th best year in 40 years. So again, if you're a fan of a Pacific Northwest team in Oregon or Washington, you have to have patience. It's not going to be like the Dodgers, or Yankees, or a team that makes the playoffs 10 years in a row. We're not built like that, but this could be the first year in a string of years where we could go to the playoffs in consecutive years. So again, a lot of us, OGs and even young fans, we want results immediately, but that's just not how the Mariners operate, unfortunately. Let's go, baby. David with the 5er. Stacks, racks, with a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. And I believe we hit our first goal. We're at a hundo. Next goal, 2 hundo. Let's go, baby. Yeah, I'm a Blazer fan too. Regardless if you're Ducks or Beavers, Cougs or Huskies, you rep the Blazers, and the Sonics will be back pretty soon. You like the Kraken, no matter, what it is, you have to go through the ups and downs, but at least for the Blazers, right? Dave is back, even though he's injured. So he'll be like the second coach. Yang is amazing. He's kind of like a, shorter version of Yao Ming, and that should be exciting. So it feels like the Blazers are, going to be getting better, and, you never know. In a couple years, they might even be able to make an 8 seed. Hell, it could even be this upcoming year. So again, they let Simons go to Boston, but I like the squad. And again, with Yang, it makes them pretty fun to watch. We're actually defensive built, and I like defense. Right, Klingon, Kling Kong. Right, we got Yang, which was the steal in the draft. Things are on the up and up, and I'm glad that Dame is back. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, 2-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kelly to Julio. And even the Kraken, they're up and down, and they keep firing their coach. And, they're not as consistent as, maybe some hockey fans would like. But hopefully, they'll be able to figure out the proper players and proper coach. And, hopefully we'll be able to see the Kraken and the Blazers, make the playoffs. And we'll see where the Huskies and Ducks, lay out this year as well for college football. I'm excited. We used to have AAA affiliate, the Portland Beavers, where I used to go to games when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old at Civic Stadium when, Kirby Puckett and it was winning World Series, for them back in the day. But we don't have a AAA affiliate anymore. There's like lower levels and whatnot, but 2-1 pitch, fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Julio, and that is 2 away. And again, I feel like, calling a baseball game is very difficult, especially with all the extra shit that I'm doing on here. Like, the NFL and, college football is probably a little bit easier. And there's certain sports that are oversaturated on YouTube. Like when you see people do NFL, there's like a billion people that do it. But how many actually do it on a high level? And I feel like there's a few of us that do baseball on a regular basis. Blue Jays today. We got 2 friends that, live up in Canada that do it on a regular basis. I'm doing the Mariners. There's a couple people that do Yankees. We got my buddy Valhalla that does Dodgers. But there's really only like, 4 or 5 of us that really cover like one team and, try to do, games on the daily. It's not very many, that do it. And again, it's not easy. Doing baseball is one of the hardest things to do and to do it well. That's facts. 0-2 pitch to Eugenio Suarez, and that is strike 3. Down goes Gino, but we tied it up 1-1, and hopefully we'll be able to take the lead at some point in the matchup. Nice job, Randy. We only got 2 hits so far. But again, when you end up only having 2 hits and one of them ends up being this, tridents up, that's what all that matters, baby. Let's go. We're tied up at 1. And we have the momentum now. And Randy was so overdue. Just like Polo was, but he got the job done. Let's go. But, I want to make, baseball and any stream that we do fun. You're going to get the good background music. You're going to get stats. You're going to get analytics. You're going to get a voice that isn't cringy. When you hear certain people on YouTube, they got a shitty voice, and again, I have an advantage because I did phone sales. So obviously, even when I was young, even like my friends and teachers and other people, they said, this was before, like really internet, internet happened when I was 13. So the internet's been around for like 30 years, but I was in that group of people that grew up pre-internet and then post-internet. But even when I was young, they said, you got that, radio, TV voice. And this was before podcasts and whatnot. So I already knew that this was my calling, even when I was very, very young. But again, I started to dream when I was around 30. And I had an original partner that I did the show with, where I wasn't really doing live play-by-play. We were doing like reaction videos. And then obviously after he quit, I had to, kind of pivot and do live play-by-play and, do, football, and we started out doing reaction videos for rugby and soccer and Messi, Ronaldo, all the sports, basketball, football, college football, kind of got our names out there, and then had to pivot to do live play-by-play and reactions. And now I'm doing pretty much everything: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, wrestling, NASCAR. And I feel like we're one of the only channels on planet Earth that actually can do anything, and I don't really feel like uncomfortable. Most people, they stick to like one thing that they feel comfortable with, and sometimes you got to get outside your comfort zone to find new people. And it's taken a lot of work, but I'm really pleased with the people that we have representing the channel. Gabe Spire enters the matchup, and first pitch to Thomas. Big swing and a miss right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Thomas. Come on, Gabe. And we need a good Gabe Spire here today. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count still remains no balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. We're knotted up at 1. And if you're just tuning in, Hernandez singled to center. Wilson scored in the top of the 4th, 1-0 A's. Rooker had a solo dinger in the first inning to give them the 1-0 lead. It's almost identical start to the matchup. And then Arozarena just homered to left, 392 feet to tie us up 1-1. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Thomas. One-two pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Thomas. Colby Thomas. And down goes Colby. Strikes out swinging. There we go, baby. And that is one away. Good job, Gabe. I was trying to get Colby's photo up before the at-bat ended. There we go. Next up, in the 9-hole, former Seattle Mariner third baseman Luis Urias. First pitch from Spire to Urias takes a foul ball right down the middle, 0-1 count. Appreciate that. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Urias. I appreciate that. You know, we get some people that will appreciate what I do, and then they'll get people that, you know, will hate. You know, it's like I'm doing play-by-play and color, you know, and again, I'm going to, you know, go over a number of things throughout the stream, and, you know, you're going to get some people that, you know, to try to talk shit and be negative, and, you know, we'll eliminate those people real quick. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Urias, you know, and again, that's where we're a little bit different here compared to, you know, other channels. Other channels, you know, they won't kick anybody out, you know, no matter how negative they're being. And I'm not going to have any toxicity in any chat. Even if that means I lose subs and views and donos, I'm going to make sure that the chat stays positive. And again, a lot of channels won't do that because they're greedy and they just want money, you know, and their sub count to grow, regardless if that person is being an asshole or not. And, you know, I don't put up with that. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Urias. Three-two pitch, and Urias strikes out looking. There we go, baby. 2 away. Down goes Louise. Nice job by Gabe so far. And again, our bullpen has been a little shaky as of late. You know, the funny thing is the people that talk shit, those are the people that never like, they never share, they never sub, they never donate. You know, all they do is just, you know, talk shit. So, you know, losing someone like that isn't going to affect the channel whatsoever. If anything, it's going to make it better for not only me, but for you guys as well. First pitch from Spire to Kurtz. Takes a strike looking, high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Kurtz. Yeah, you know, and the AI shit is getting a little out of control, you know, and a lot of faceless channels and a lot of, you know, AI stuff, you know, and AI is taking over. You know, there's going to be a lot of AI companies, and, you know, we've obviously seen like Bitcoin, you know, go from $1,000 to where it's now, you know, but you're going to see a lot of AI companies and a lot of AI growth, you know, within the next 10 years. And, you know, that AI is something that's not going to take my job, you know, and again, you know, being able to have a job that I know that as long as I work hard and, you know, end up being genuine and original, I'm going to be able to do this for the rest of my life. So, and that is out number 3. Down goes Nick Kurtz, and he flies out with a deep ball. And wow, Victor Robles, what a catch. Unfucking believable. And that's the Robles that we've been missing. Do you think that Dylan Moore could have made that catch? Dominic Canzone? Luke Raley? Hell no. Great job by Victor. That was, you know, even though he hasn't got a hit yet, that just made my day right there. Great job, Victor. Lay him down. And what happens when a guy typically makes an amazing catch like that? It usually leads to a base hit when they come up in the order. And let's see who's up for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 7th. Let's take the lead. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a base on ball, first baseman Josh Naylor. Batting second, 0 for 2. DHing Mitch Garver. And look at this. Wouldn't you know, batting third after making a spectacular diving catch, 0 for 2 with a K, right fielder, one of my favorite players on the team, Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. And again, I don't expect him to get a home run, but again, he did bunt towards first, and we haven't seen anybody bunt in like a fucking month, but again, I can't wait for him to be on the regular roster. And hopefully Victor can get like a single or double to kind of round out his day. So, oh, absolutely. If I could choose a few guys, like from, just the last 15 or 20 years to be a part of this team, Raul would be one of the top 3 guys. Felix Hernandez 1, Raul Ibanez would probably be 2 or 3, and then obviously Kyle Seager. Those would be the 3 guys, as of late, that were in that run where, we didn't make the playoffs for, 20 plus years. But, and also Nelson Cruz. I wasn't really a big Robinson Cano guy. That was a Yankee guy that came over, and, he just inherited a bunch of great players around him. Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada. He didn't do shit for us. But I like Nelson Cruz a lot. I love Raul Ibanez. I love Kyle Seager, and I love King Felix. First pitch to Josh Naylor. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kelly to Naylor. 1-1 pitch, high and away with the 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. And Naylor finally got off the schneid and homered. Let's see if we can get some action here. Let's go, Josh. Yeah, I like a guy that hustles, like Luke Raley, Victor Robles, but also can bunt and he can hit, and, he just has good vibes overall. And then, you finally complete the no-fly zone, with the 3 in there, right? With the Rosarina in left, Julio in center, and Victor in right. And Naylor flies out to left on a 2-1 pitch on a slider, and that is 1 away. Okay, Naylor, still love you. Next up is Mitch Garver. Let's go, Mitch. First pitch, low and away from Kelly to Garver, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kelly to Garver. 1-1 pitch, popped up and flied out to left on a sweeper, 83 miles an hour, and that is 2 away. Yeah, and I've made a lot of adjustments, over, the few months. We used to have the volume on the music at a 50, and that was way too loud. So I usually have it at 35. So it kind of depends if your phone is on at full blast or not, but usually I try to, have it, a decent volume, but not too loud, but also to, kind of give people something to kind of vibe with as we're, doing the stream instead of just hearing, background or silence. All right, next up is Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. First pitch from Kelly to Robles. Fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. My boy. Let's go, Victor. And plus, all the beats are actually from, my friend, who's an up-and-coming, artist, here in Oregon. So, anytime I can support a friend with his dream. And Robles with a single right up the middle. There we go. And just like I said, after you make a big play on defense with a diving catch, it almost always leads to a hit in that first at-bat after. And what happened? It did. Let's go. That ESP, it's on point, baby. My boy. When you watch baseball long enough, you start to pick up tendencies, and it's not just black and white. There's a gray area. You just have to pay attention and remember past history. Nice job, Victor. Finally getting a hit, and obviously that great defense led to it. He had that adrenaline flowing right over Jacob Wilson's hand. Beautiful. Next up is JP Crawford. Let's go, baby. Give me that swagger, JP. Ice water in the veins. Let's go. Bottom of the 7th with a runner at first and 2 outs. Let's see if we can go on a rally, and they're going to make a pitching change. Newcomb is coming in, and hopefully this will be the meltdown that we've been waiting for. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Reflect. Mike finally ended up showing up into the stream. He was in the hospital for a year, and he showed up yesterday. We need one more like to get to 100. We have 100 people in the room that haven't hit the like button. Now we're at 100, and if we can get half of the 93 people that haven't hit the like button, we'll be at 150. Let's go, baby. Next goal will be 125 and then 150. But good to see you in the room. Robles is back. And again, did you like that first hit by Ichiro against Hideo Nomo? I found that clip on socials, and I had to send it to you. Amazing. And great to have Victor back, even though it might only be for a few games, and hopefully the suspension isn't going to be, for the full 10 games. But yeah, and again, he wrote NASCAR, Chase Elliott. And I was like, is that because, there's a lot of people named Mike or Michael on the stream. And since they've changed the format in the chat, it gives you the @ in social media. So your username may not be the same as it was before, that YouTube has made these changes. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's him. And he mentioned that he was sick and he was in the hospital. And again, when we have people that are 80, 90 years old, you don't know when, all of a sudden that they're gone after being here on a regular basis. I was really hoping he didn't pass away or get sick. And really cool to be able to see, people that have been a good support to the channel with likes and views and subs and donos and being a positive influence and, doing a great job with his grandkids, even though he's been under the weather. And, just great to be able to see him. And I imagine, I don't know if he's still in the room now or if he had to step away, but at some point you guys will be able to reconnect. And he was talking a little college football and whatnot, and I know you guys could kind of chum it up a little bit, but I know he misses you. First pitch from Newcomb to JP, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 1 ball and 1 strike from Newcomb to Crawford. 1-1 pitch, high and inside with a 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Sean Newcomb on the mound, JP Crawford in the box. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Newcomb to Crawford. Yeah, we're original here, and again, no one else is going to be able to do what we do here. And Victor steals second, safe, and that's another aspect of his game that we've been lacking. It feels like we haven't been stealing bags, we haven't been bunting. We've already seen both things out of Victor Robles, diving catches, check, and then getting his hit finally, check. Like, Robles is going to be probably the X factor, that could really propel us on, eventually catching up to the Astros and winning the division and making a deeper run. He has that type of impact. Yeah, I think Cal can, but also you have to realize Cal has been going against a lot of lefties and he's had to hit right-handed and he's not as good. So it's like if you got 30 home runs from the left and 17 from the right and you're going against good lefty pitching and you're not as good from the right side, that's why. Almost every single at-bat has been a left-handed pitcher. So eventually when we get a righty, at some point, that we assume that Cal will break the record at some point, tie the record with, 48, and then eventually beating the record at 49 and 50. And then down goes JP. That is out number 3. End of the 7th inning, 1-1, Athletics and Mariners. Let's see who's up next for the A's here in the top of the 8th. But anytime we can end up supporting our friends with their dreams and goals. And, me and my boy Brooks, we used to party a lot, and he never really took the beats super serious. It was more like a hobby, but he was probably the most talented friend that I knew that could make it. And I told him he should have done a YouTube channel on like him showing how to make the beats and, Busta Rhymes, found some of his stuff. And I told him, if that's not a sign to keep going, Buster Rhymes, actually found some of your stuff on SoundCloud, that you should, take it more serious. Now he's invested in his health. He's invested, in more, equipment. And, again, I'm really proud of him, because again, both of us have lost about 100 pounds. And, again, he's doing things that I never thought that he would be able to do, like run marathons, half marathons. He's in shape now. He's motivated. He's happy. And again, at some point, he is going to get discovered by a big R&B or rap artist, or his stuff will be in commercials or movies or TV. And, I really like to encourage my friends that have talent to keep going. If you can't, feed off of my energy and my, grind and work ethic, I don't know what's going to motivate you. Again, I've been doing this for, 14 years, 13 years streaming, 9 years on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years, 10 on YouTube. And again, there's not going to be anyone on planet Earth that's going to work harder than me. And I'm really proud of him. He's doing like a crazy, like Hood to Coast or something like right now, where he was running this marathon even through the night. Like, if you would have seen this guy that I used to party with back in the day, you would be like, there's no way. He kind of looks like DJ Khaled, but skinny now. So. First pitch from Bizzardo to Langoliers. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. But I love seeing people make their dreams come true. Nothing makes me happier. And I will definitely always be a supporter, not a hater. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Shea Langoliers. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Langoliers. Let's go, Bizzardo. Let's go, Edward. Top of the 8th, 1-1, A's and M's. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Shea Langoliers. Yeah, we used to make beats together too from back in the day. He would be the main guy on the beat pad, and I would give him suggestions, on different sounds, and we would kind of go through it. But the guy is uber talented. Like, he started playing piano at a very, very young age, just like when I started watching sports and wrestling, around 3-4 years old. So I wouldn't necessarily say he's a prodigy, but he's incredibly, incredibly smart and talented. Just needs to believe in himself, like I believed in him this whole time. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Langoliers, and sometimes you just have to not really, care so much about what other people think. You just have to believe in yourself, and everyone has a lane on something they can do. Everyone is destined for greatness. You just have to be able to figure out, what your passion is, and then to go for it. Life is short. 3-2 pitch, and that is a walk from Bizzardo to Langoliers. Come on, Edward. You got to be better. Next up is DHing for the A's, Brent Rooker. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Make it happen, sports gods. And Rooker lines out to the shortstop, and that is 1 away. Why do I got 2 mics? Because I do the work of 2 people. I do live play-by-play and I do color. And I like symmetry. I like things that look good. I'm original. I don't got to be like everyone else. Plus, I have so many different screens that I'm looking at. If I'm actually looking this way, you might not pick it up over here. So no matter where I'm looking, no matter what I'm doing, I want to make sure that no one misses the action. So that's another reason. Besides the symmetry and the way that I like for it to look, I like to be original, and I want to make sure that nobody misses anything that I say. So I don't have to copy anybody else. I'm always going to be an OG, original. Top of the 8th, 1-1, A's and Mariners. Runner at first with 1 out. Bizzardo on the mound, Soderstrom in the box. You're not going to see anyone else that's got a look like this. So, but there's a number of reasons. Everything that I do is calculated. Nothing is, by just chance. 1-0 pitch in play. And Soderstrom fouls out to first, and that is 2 away. There we go. Next up is shortstop, 2 for 3 with a run. Jacob Wilson having a great day today. Nice catch out there by Naylor. Top of the 8th, 1-1, Athletics and Mariners. And down he goes for out number 3. Here we go. This is where we end up taking the lead and we win the game. Book it. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2. We're going to make it 1 for 3. Let's get a single, Cole Young. Batting second, 1 for 3 with that solo dinger, Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K. Hopefully we have a right-handed pitcher so Cal can go yard. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Griffey loves it. What about you? Let's go, baby. We got 1 home run. We need at least 1 more. Big RBI or big home run. And again, it kind of feels like this could be the inning where we win the game. Young, Arozarena, big dumper. Let's get it. First pitch to Cole Young from Sean Newcomb. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. Come on, Cole. 0-1 pitch, low and away with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Newcomb to Young. One pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. Two-one pitch, and Young flies out to center, and that is 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI and a K. The hero so far, Randy Arozarena. He's been so overdue for a home run. Let's see if we can get something here out of Randy. First pitch, fouled off, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Sean Newcomb on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. Let's go, Randy. Be the hero, my guy. Bottom of the 8th, 1-1, Athletics and Mariners. Nobody on with 1 out. Sean Newcomb on the mound. Arozarena in the box. 0-1 pitch and flight out to the exact same spot as Cole Young. 2 away. And now we just have to pray that Cal Raleigh can find a way to hit a home run from the right-hand side and give us a 2-1 lead. First pitch to Cal from Sean Newcomb, fouls it off, low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Come on, Cal. Newcomb on the mound, big dumper in the box. Come on, Cal. Give me that home run swing. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. We're looking for home run number 48. We want some history, and we want the lead in the win. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And honestly, I'm getting a little sick and tired of having him only bat from the right-hand side, and all of these fucking teams purposely putting out left-handed starters and left-handed bullpen, individuals. I want to see some fucking history. Let's go. Bottom of the 8th, we're tied up at 1. Newcomb on the mound, big dumper in the box. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Come on, Cal. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And we know Cal has bailed us out many, many times in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, as well as in extras. David with a 5-er. 1-2 pitch. And hit deeply all the way back to the wall, but it stays in play, unfortunately, and that is the end of the 8th inning. David with a 5-er. I mean, maybe we can find a way to win this game in the 9th or in extras. It kind of feels like an extra inning type of affair, if you ask me, but hell, I'll take a 2-1 win in the 9th if we can get it. Stacks, racks, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. I mean, maybe it'll end up being a walk-off or something of that nature. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Athletics. Next up for the A's, 0 for 3 with a K, 6-hole hitter Lawrence Butler. Batting second, 1 for 3 with an RBI, second baseman Daryl Hernandez. And batting third for Carlos Cortez is Thomas. And let me see. I know I have the Thomas photo. Where is it? There it is. Let me pull it up. I initially put it back in the file, but I need to re-grab it here. And last but not least, Colby Thomas. I need to add this one to the athletic file. So many button clicks. People have no idea. So much hard work. I mean, some of these streamers, they have it so easy. Just hit start stream and that's it. But again, you have to work hard. You got to be able to stand out and be different, not like everyone else. All right, baby, we got to find a way. First pitch from Andres Munoz, and hopefully we get the good Mooney, not the, suspect Mooney that we had yesterday. Come on, baby. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. That's a good start. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Munoz to Butler, and that's the good Mooney when we can start off like that instead of him giving up a few hits, a few RBIs, or walks, plunking guys. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Lawrence Butler, and that is the Mooney that I love. 1 away. Way to bring that electricity. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. See ya. Next up, 1 for 3 with an RBI, second baseman Daryl Hernandez. Take care of him, Mooney. Kick that fucking door down. Take no prisoners. Let's go. First pitch, right down the middle. I mean, we haven't seen Mooney throw 4 strikes in a row in a minute before he almost had the immaculate inning a few weeks ago. Oh, 0-1 pitch, high and away, missing the strike zone by inches. 1 ball and 1 strike from Mooney to Daryl Hernandez. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Munoz to Hernandez. Let's go, Mooney. Give me that electricity, baby. And we can win this game 2-1 in the 9th or in the 10th or the 11th. Daniel in the building, what's good? Top of the 9th, we're tied up at 1. Nobody on and one out. And again, when we play the A's and the Angels, this is kind of a regular thing. Games are tough. Again, we have a much easier time playing the Astros and the Rangers than we do the Athletics and the Angels. Just go back and look at the history. If you play down to the competition, sometimes that other team will hit you in the mouth early, and sometimes you don't recover. 1-2 pitch in play, and Hernandez grounds out to JP. Throw to first. Got him. 2 away. And filling in for Carlos Cortez is Colby Thomas. 0 for 1 with a K in his last at-bat. Mooney on the mound. Thomas in the box. Come on, baby. Top of the 9th, we're knotted up at 1. 0-1 pitch, high and away, missing that strike zone on the corner by inches. 1 ball and 1 strike from Munoz to Thomas. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Mooney to Thomas. Come on, baby. Find a way. Colby doing his best Daniel Bryan impression there. It ain't no yes, yes, yes. It's hell no, no, no. Come on, Mooney. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. High and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Mooney to Thomas. 1 more strike, and we can go in the bottom of the 9th and win this. Let's go. Thomas in the box. Mooney on the mound. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Munoz to Thomas. Two-two pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Andres Munoz. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 9th, we're knotted up at 1, and we can definitely win this game 2-1 or 3-1. Let's get the job done. We're at 124 on the likes with 208 in the room. Let's see if we can get to 150. And down goes Thomas. Let's go. Time to win, baby. And great job by Mooney. Much better than yesterday. Gave us a fucking heart attack yesterday, but we got the job done. And we actually have a great lineup to win the game here in regulation. It's just a matter of, can they step up? Leading off for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K. Let's make it 1 for 4. Maybe we can get even a walk-off home run by Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a baseball ball and a K. Good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. He could be a game winner as well. And batting third, a guy that we love, 1 for 2 with a base on ball. It's Nails, Josh Naylor. Let's fucking go. I mean, that might be the best 3 at this point that you could have up in this situation. Julio, hot after the All-Star break. Gino, hot after the All-Star break. And Naylor, hot within the last couple games. Let's go. Time to win this. Let's go, baby. I mean, we potentially could have a walk-off by any of those 3 guys, but again, we might be able to get a single out of one of them, like Julio, and then maybe Gino hits it or Naylor hits it, or maybe it's back-to-back hits with a meltdown, and there's no home run, and we end up winning 2-1 that way. I don't really care how we win as long as we win the game. And then we'll be live tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific. And again, we've had a heat wave here in Oregon and obviously in Washington as well. Back-to-back 100s today and yesterday, not ideal. And it'll still be in the high 90s tomorrow. But I'm definitely excited for the matchup. But we got to take care of today before we talk about tomorrow. Let's go. That's good to hear. I know you've been working hard lately. Come on, J-Rod. Let's go, baby. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez from Ferguson. Obviously they don't have Mason Miller anymore. They traded him to the Padres, thank God, so we don't have to see 100 to 103. Takes a strike looking. low and at the knees, which should have been called ball. Terrible call by that ump, but he's been calling that strike all day. So 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And if this was at the beginning of the year, we'd be screaming at our TV saying no. But, Julio has been able to get some hits with an 0-2 count lately. So we'll see if we can buck the trend. He's been a much better player, but don't be surprised if he strikes out. 0-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss, and down goes Julio, 1 away. So Julio is not able to be the hero with the walk-off or a hit, but we still have a couple guys that could be heroes here today. Next up for the Mariners, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Hey, I put you on the thumb. You've been doing pretty good lately. Let's see if Gino can be the hero. Let's go, Gino. Trident's up. First pitch from Ferguson to Gino. Fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. Bottom of the ninth. 1-1 tie with nobody on and 1 out. Ferguson on the mound. Gino in the box. Come on, Gino. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Suarez. And Ferguson is pitching like Andres Munoz, taking care of business and getting ahead of the count on almost every batter up to this point. Come on, Gino. Come on, baby. O2 pitch popped up and flight out to right, and that is 2 away. And we've already had Naylor win us a few games so far. Could Josh be the hero here for the Seattle Mariners? Let's go. Best case scenario, he does this, and we win 2-1 with a walk-off home run. But even if he gets a single, we could go on a little bit of a rally. We're very good with 2 outs, or we could end up, having this go 10, 11, or 12 and winning that way. Kind of felt like an extra inning win for us, a few minutes back, and I still think that. First pitch to Naylor, and grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is the end of the ninth. So it looks like my prediction was right. I still would have loved to be wrong in that situation, and we won the game in the bottom of the ninth, but it just kind of felt like, maybe we'll win in extras, and hopefully we don't have a fucking meltdown. All right, we'll go to the top of the 10th, and I don't like seeing Caleb Ferguson fucking warming up in the pen. I don't want to see that, damn it. I don't want to lose this game. David with a 5er, appreciate you. Stacks, Rax with a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Let's see if we can get to 150 on the likes. And then on the dono train, 5, 10, 15, 20, 70, 90, 95, 100. We're at 105. 95 to go to hit the next goal. Shout out to Flying Monk with a 5er, Captain with a 5er, Philip with a 5er, Monkey Kung Fu with a 50, David with a 5er, DX with a 20, Flying Monk with a 5er, David with a 5er, and David with another 5er. Shout out to you guys. And again, when you end up donating to a channel, you're not donating to an individual, you're donating to a dream. Remember that. And Ferguson is coming in for Munoz. Holy hell, I don't know if I like that. We better pray that this is the good Caleb Ferguson, not the bad one, or we're fucked. I know we don't got Kowar, who's in AAA, and Legomina, so we don't have to worry about those guys bowling the game, but what's kind of crazy? I actually wouldn't even mind Vargas right now because he's actually been pretty good as of late, and we know how shitty he was, for a period of time. Him and Dylan Moore were like the 2 worst players on the team, but as of late, Vargas has actually been pretty good when, Mooney and Spire and Pizzardo and Brash have been shaky. Make it make sense, but let's just pray that Caleb ends up doing a good job here. Leading off is the former Seattle Mariner third baseman Luis Urias. And Houston winning earlier today. Boo! Fucking Astros. They hit 3 home runs in the first inning, and I almost fucking threw my remote at the TV. I was pissed. And then the O's came back, and it was 7-7. But, of course, they fucking fumbled the bag. And it looks like Harris is pinch hitting for Urias. Ferguson on the mound for the M's, and Brett Harris pinch hitting for Luis Urias, the former Mariner. Top of the 10th with a runner at second. We're tied up at 1. Got to find a way to win. First pitch, bunted foul. And kind of cool that we're actually seeing some bunt attempts in this game. One by Robles towards first, that was out. And then Harris right there, bunting towards third. And obviously in foul territory, 0-1 count. All right, we're at 134 on the likes. Let's see if we can get to 150, only a few more. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees with the curveball. No. Slurve ball. Slider curve combo, which has become a little bit more popular within the last 2 years. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Harris, and Harris is definitely trying to move the runner over, but hopefully we can get him to strike out. Come on, baby. Top of the 10th. We're knotted up at 1. Got to win this game. And bunt towards third, throw to first, and got him. Small ball. That's exactly why they brought him in, to move that runner over to third. Good strategy there by the Athletics with Harris with 2 bunt attempts, and the second one ends up doing the job. All right, here we go. Next up is Nick Kurtz. And again, we're going to need hard to get a double play with a guy at third base. Much easier if you had a guy at first or second, but we're just going to need to find a way. Pop up, ground out, couple strikeouts. And ground ball in play, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Thank God Kurtz got greedy right there and tried to go for that big play, and he gets nothing, 2 away. All right, here we go. Next up is catcher Shea Langoliers. Let's keep that runner at third base, baby. Let's go, Caleb. Ferguson on the mound. Shea Langoliers in the box, and I really feel if Kurtz would have been patient, it would be 2-1 right now. So we definitely got lucky, him, trying to be overly aggressive on that potential first pitch right down the middle, and he didn't get what he wanted. And we have a good mound visit here by Cal, who's like our second manager, who's the best catcher in baseball. And again, I want to be able to see some more fucking righty pitchers so we can get Cal to homer and get into a rhythm. Don't know if he'll be able to hit 60 home runs, but hopefully he'll be able to get to at least like 58. So he'll be like 10 over the record, but he's going to have a couple multi-homer games and try to hopefully get hot at some point or another. First pitch from Ferguson to Langoliers. Takes a strike looking low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Top of the 10th with a runner at third. With 2 outs, we're tied up at 1. Ferguson on the mound, Langoliers in the box. Try dance up. Let's go, M's. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees with the slurve ball, slider curve combo by Ferguson. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at third and 2 outs. Got to keep that runner stranded at third. Come on, Ferg. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. I like that. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 2 outs. Top of the 10th, 1-1, Athletics and Mariners. Come on, baby, 1 more strike. Ferguson on the mound, Langoliers in the box. Top of the 10th, we're tied up at 1, runner at third with 2 outs. Ferguson on the mound. If we were to use Gabe Spire early in the matchup, they were trying to go lefty on righties. Come on, baby, find a way. Get out of this inning. So that way we can win 2-1 in the bottom of the 10th. It's not going to be pretty when we play the Athletics or the Angels. We have to, have a nail biter, it feels like, every single time. We have a much easier time against the Stros and the Rangers than we do against the Angels and the Athletics, and it's always been that way. One-two pitch. And crushes it into right field to Victor Robles, and that's an RBI double. And now the A's go up 2-1. Clutch, big hit. Nice job by Shea. And that's why I don't like having this guy in at this point in the matchup. And now they're intentionally walking Rooker. Now you got runners at first and second with 2 outs. Fucking A. Next up, left fielder Tyler Soderstrom. And again, it's not looking good now, but hopefully we can keep it at 2. If it goes to 3 or 4, it's over. We have to make sure we keep it just to 1, and we'll still have a chance since we'll have a ghost runner at second. Obviously with our opportunity with our 3 hitters in the bottom of the 10th. So, first pitch from Ferguson to Soderstrom. Takes a strike, looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. It's not over yet. As long as they don't bring in the 2 guys that are at first and second. If those guys come in with 2 outs, then it might be over, but we're still in it. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Soderstrom. Hopefully we can tie it up 2-2, and then we may have to stretch the game out into 11 or 12 innings. But, best case scenario, we can score a couple and just win the game in the bottom of the 10th, but it doesn't feel like that would happen. It would be, if we do come back, we have to tie it and then later win it. But who knows? It's got to find a way. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Soderstrom. Still have a chance, baby. Let's go. Ferguson on the mound, Soderstrom in the box. Top of the 10th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. 2-1 Athletic lead. Come on, Adams. Trident's up. Keep fighting. Keep grinding. Keep battling. 2-2 pitch. Low and away with the cutter. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count now is full to Tyler Soderstrom. Top of the 10th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. 2-1 A's lead. Ferguson on the mound. Soderstrom in the box. Come on, Mariners. Don't give up another run. Come on, Caleb. 2-2 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Soderstrom. Come on now. 3-2 pitch, throw to first, and we got the force out there at first, and that is it. All right, we're in it. If it would have excelled to 3-1 or 4-1, it would have been for sure over, more than likely. But with a ghost runner at second, let's see if we actually have hitters that can get the job done. All right, leading off, unless they have someone pinch hit for him, Mitch Garver. I wouldn't mind having someone hit for him. He's 0 for 3. Let's see if we get someone else in there. Maybe Polo or Luke Raley, somebody. Dominic Canzone, if he's healthy enough. Someone. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a K, Victor Robles. Victor could get a hit for us. Making his debut back with the team here today. Maybe Victor can be the hero. And then batting third is J.P. Crawford, 0 for 3 with a K. But we know at any given moment, ice water in the veins, he could come up big with a walk-off or something big. So, I think the only person that we're a little worried about is maybe Garver. But with Robles and Crawford, I don't mind those two. But, we'll see if they make a substitution for Garver, maybe another option. But who knows? Maybe Mitch can end up getting walked or get a single. Mitch could be a hero too. You never know. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 150 likes. We've gained 10 subs, and we're going to be over the $100 mark on the dono train. Next goal, 200. Shout out to the 10 new subs that we've acquired today. 71 to get to 21,600, and they're going to have Polo pinch hit. Good idea. And Polo homered yesterday, so I like this. Good decision there by Dan Wilson. We haven't said that too often this year. Come on, Polo. Come on, baby. First pitch to Polo, low and away. Could have been called strike in the box, but was called ball. 1-0 count. Come on, Polo. One-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Ferguson to Polo. Are we going to get a meltdown right here? I feel a meltdown, a brewing. Come on, baby. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. That's a fucking ball. Come on. Should be 3-0 count, but it's 2-1 now. Come on. But the ump has been calling that all day for both teams. Just unfortunate that they have to call it there, bastard. 2 balls and 1 strike from Ferguson to Polo. I would have loved a 3-0 count for Polo. I mean, even just getting him on base with a walk would be great. And we know Langoliers and Cal can frame very well. 2-1 pitch. Strike, low, and in the zone, but called ball. Maybe a makeup call. 3 balls and 1 strike from Ferguson to Polo. I mean, this ump is all over the place. He's calling strikes, balls, and ball strikes. 3-1 pitch, and meltdown. Let's go, baby. Polo to first with the walk, baby. Runners at first and second with no outs. Time to win. Let's get it. Next up, right fielder, Victor Robles. Let's see if Victor can be the hero, baby. Let's go, Victor. First game back would be a great opportunity to win the game for us in your first game back. Still, the suspension has to go through, but at least we have him for this game if the results come in. Hopefully it gets reduced to 5 games rather than 10. Come on, Victor. I need a fucking meltdown. We're already getting it. Let's go. Bottom of the 10th. We're down by a run. Runners at first and second and no outs. And we're having a mound visit, and we'll find out if they're going to make a pitching change or not here. We gained 3 more subs. We're at 13. 68 to go to 21,600. Yeah. You know, it would even be crazier, too, if Estes was, throwing to him, the guy that beamed him. But again, if they had him come in the game, he probably would, throw at Victor, and then it would cause a fight, and then his suspension would even be longer. So, but if Victor ends up homering or, getting a big RBI off of this team, would be huge. A's deserve to be robolized. I agree. Let's go. Let's go. First pitch in play. And fouled out to the catcher. That's brutal. Damn it, Victor. And that is 1 away. But at least on the bright side, it wasn't a double play, right? Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Give me that swagger. Give me that aura. Give me the ice water in your veins. Let's go. See if we can get J.P. with a walk-off home run or a big RBI. Let's go. No double plays. Just find a way to continue this inning. Let's go. And then we're going to have a pitching change. And at least we don't have to go against Mason Miller, but Harris is coming in. Gained another sub. Oh, bottom of the 10th, 2-1 A's. Runners at first and second and 1 out. J.P. Crawford up next. And then Cole Young on deck. I mean, we can win with these 2 guys at the end of the matchup here. Just got to find a way. Bring that electricity, J.P. Got to wait for that perfect pitch. Let's go.
JP Crawford up next. Cole Young on deck. And then if we can get back to the top of the order, Randy Arozarena. Come on, JP. JP could definitely be the hero. Hopefully he can come up with a perfect pitch. Walk-off home run would be great, but we don't necessarily need it to win. 3-run blast and winning 4-2 would be great. And then obviously we got a matchup tomorrow at 110. August 1st, 2025, JP Crawford had his first walk-off home run in his career, and that is based off this photo right here. Hopefully this will be a good omen for us, and hopefully he'll be able to homer again or get a big RBI. Bring the electricity, JP. First pitch to JP, low and away with the curveball, 1-0 count. Give me a meltdown by Hogan Harris. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. Give me that swagger. Give me that energy. One pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Harris to Crawford. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Harris to Crawford, and that could have easily been strike 3. This ump is all over the place. Hogan Harris on the mound, JP Crawford in the box. Two-two pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Come on, baby. Bottom of the 10th, 2-1 A's. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Hogan Harris on the mound, JP Crawford in the box. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hogan Harris to JP Crawford. Come on, baby. Come on, JP. Single, double, triple, home run, walk, plunk. Just something to keep this inning going. Come on now. Bottom of the 10th, 2-1 Athletics. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Hogan Harris on the mound. JP Crawford in the box. 3-2. Double play. He dropped it! And he got the force out at second. Wow. Unbelievable. And we got runners now at first and third with 2 outs. Holy hell. They tried to go for 2 to end the game, and he dropped the ball at second base. Jacob Wilson dropped the baseball. And I said, did he actually have his foot on the bag? And it looks like he got a toe tap at least on it. Seattle's challenging to see if he actually had the toe on the base while he had the ball in his hand after he dropped it. I would assume after they review this, they'll call him out there. You know, it looked like he dropped it and then his foot was grazing and it looked like it slightly tapped the bag before the runner got into second base. But, who knows with umps nowadays? You never know what call you're going to get. But we've had Cole Young win us a few games already in his rookie season this year. So, we'll see where the review goes here. Okay, runners out, which we thought. All right, Cole Young has to be the hero. Come on, Cole. First pitch from Hogan Harris to Cole Young, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Harris to Young.
Yeah, Naylor at third. I don't expect any suicide squeeze, even though we know Naylor can steal bags. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Harris to Young. Come on, Cole. We're down to our last strike with a runner at third. Come on, baby. Even if it just ties the game up 2-2 and we have to go to the 11th or 12th and win that way, just find a way to keep this game going. Come on, Cole. I mean, obviously, best case scenario, he hits a 3-run home run and we win, but 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Come on, baby. Hogan Harris on the mound. Cole Young in the box. Come on, baby. 2-2 pitch. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Harris to Young. Golly, every fucking game is a nail biter. You know, it's never going to be easy, you know, when you're a Mariner fan. You know, every once in a while we'll have a blowout win, but it's a lot of games like this when you play the Athletics and Angels. Much more difficult than playing the Astros and Rangers. Go figure. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th, we're down by a run. 2-1 Athletics. Hogan Harris on the mound, Cole Young in the box. Come on, Cole. And 3-2 pitch, and it's a walk. Yes! There we go. Now we got bases loaded for Randy Arozarena, who hit the home run early in the game for us. Let's go fucking Randy. And cue the photo. Let's go. Let's win this fucking game. Bases loaded. 2-1 Athletics. Randy has a chance to win the game. Let's go. Bring that electricity, baby. Come on, Randy. I think we're going to have a pitching change. First pitch from Hogan Harris to Randy Arozarena. Fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. Randy in the box. Hogan Harris on the mound. Bottom of the 10th, 2-1 A's. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Come on, Randy. You already have 1 home run in the game. Let's get some magic here. We need that Soto mojo. Come on, baby. That Mariner magic. Come on, Randy. Bottom of the 10th, 2-1 A's. Bases loaded with 2 outs. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Good eye by Arozarena. 1 ball and 1 strike from Harris to Randy. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees again with the changeup this time. 2 balls and 1 strike from Harris to Arozarena. It kind of feels like if Randy doesn't swing, we'll get a freebie from third to come home. But we know some guys, love to swing the bat. So I don't know if Randy has the patience just to not swing for a few more pitches, but we will see. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hogan Harris to Arozarena. Harris on the mound. Randy in the box. Let's go, baby. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We need a victory here. And hit to third. And force out at second. And then it is game over. Fuck. Great job by the Athletics on winning that matchup. Randy couldn't come up big when it mattered the most. Brutal. But again, when you only score 1 run, it's not always going to be in our favor, but at least we had a chance there late. And again, we have a chance to win 2 out of 3 tomorrow. The game will be on at 1:10 Pacific. That one hurts. But again, the Mariners only had 3 hits for the game. That ain't going to win you a game in MLB. So again, we definitely rallied late, but it wasn't enough. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do it on your way out. And again, we will be live tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific for the last matchup between the Athletics and the Mariners. Final score, A's 2, Mariners 1 in 10. And we definitely have to score more runs tomorrow if we want to be able to beat this Athletic team. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Tridents up and go M's.